Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you on your Wednesday morning, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We are set to roll on this Wednesday. Cory Curtis live in studio. Cory, what's going on?
I am a delight. Jacob, thank you very much. How are you today?
I am great. Cory brought his Hulk today, who is hanging back with Parker behind the glass.
Parker has a playmate now.
After making the request for weeks, Parker finally got his wish.
Does he live up to the expectations, Parker?
And more. Because you can take all the pieces off.
Yeah, and it looks like he's doing that back there, so you better stop him.
Yeah. I told you, don't take him apart because you abuse something and then you can't put it back together.
He has made appearances on the Zoom when Cory's done the show remotely, but now live and in person. Hulk is here.
Yeah, it's fine. The name of my tournament bracket at work is Hulk Smash.
Because your bracket's busted?
No, I'm second.
Oh, okay.
If Arizona beats UConn in the championship, I win.
There you go. Congratulations. Arizona was my champion, but almost everything else has not gone very well for me.
Look, I thought I was done. And then Bryce Mullins came through for me.
Yeah, that is true. that shot was big. For me, I had Duke in the championship game, so that was kind of the last hurrah for my bracket there.
There's a lot of great stuff from that, but the video of Bill Rafferty.
Yeah, just looking like he's seen horrors.
What's happening?
We almost lost Bill.
Yeah, and Grant Hill just looked like someone stole his bank account.
Yeah, it's well, it was kind of a similar situation a few years ago. The Furman UVA first round game where it was a steal that led to the 3, and Furman went in front, and it was Stan Van Gundy looked like he had bet his life savings on Virginia.
Okay, this is neither here nor there. But I do want to ask this.
Yeah.
So today, Evan Brads is being introduced as
Belmont's
new basketball coach. That comes up in about an hour and a half. I mean, he's got the job. He's officially being introduced.
Right.
So the Boozer brother who turned it over,
Caden. Yep.
What do you think the chances are he is a Belmont Bruin next season?
Oh, so I know. Cam Boozer is going to be
he's going to
be the third pick in the draft. What is Caden's draft stock?
Duke has no need for Caden.
Right.
Now that Cameron is gone to the NBA.
Let's see. Is he
Caden would be a starter next year.
I would
with Caleb Foster going down, Caden Boozer was a starter.
He would be given the opportunity to stay at Duke, but I mean, I guess there's a chance.
Yeah, there might be some luggage there. There might be some ill will, some bad feelings.
I'm looking through.
It's a different era, guys.
I'm looking through a mock draft just to see if he's listed anywhere, and he's not in the first round.
He's 6'2".
Right. I don't think he's a pick, but I'm just making sure. This one also does not have Tyler Tanner in it, the one that I'm looking at.
Well, I saw the release that he hired CAA for
NIL representation. Yes, I did see that.
Pretty good indication that he's coming back.
Right. So that's a good sign if you're a Vanderbilt fan that maybe Tyler Tanner is returning. But maybe there's an outside shot.
I know Nate Ament doesn't need to come back to get drafted in the top 10, but that game against Michigan showed you he could
use another year.
Yeah, he could use 10 pounds in another year. I think if he came back 8 to 10 pounds heavier and averaged 22 and 10, he could be one of the first 3 picks of the draft.
Yeah, and there's probably a dividing line somewhere of will I make more money going to the NBA or will I make more money coming back to college? The good news, and we talked about this with Tyler Tanner, is in the NBA, you can go through the draft process and then pull your name back out. So he can go through all this, and his agent can tell him, hey, you're the 16th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go back to school. Like the money's good at 16, but you're not a lottery pick.
Well, and also you could be the 16th pick next year too.
Right. The only risk there is injury, and that's what you have to weigh.
But he can also come back to Vanderbilt, and this is where it's different, and this is where NIL helps keep good players in college basketball.
Right.
He could probably make $2.5 million.
Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money coming back too.
And so there's that. I mean, and I'm hopeful for Vanderbilt, but for college basketball, to keep that this keeps more good players around for a few extra years.
Right.
You're not going to do anything to keep Cam Boozer in college.
No, but Darren Peterson or those guys.
Now how about Keaton Wagler?
Yeah.
Keaton Wagler is a tremendous young player, but just look at him physically.
Right.
He needs to stay in college for another year. He needs to find the weight room. He'll get destroyed in the NBA.
Yeah.
He needs to find a McDonald's. That's what he needs to find.
No, I mean,
Get you a couple Big Macs.
He does not have 2 free tickets to the gun show.
No.
I mean, and again, don't get me wrong, he is a great college player, and he's a huge reason why Illinois is in the Final Four. But I think, they're talking of him going in the top 10, and I'm just like, he needs another year.
No, you're right. Maybe NIL not only improves the product at the college level, but it also leads to these players that go into the NBA being more ready for it, right?
I agree. It makes everybody better.
In the past, you got these one and dones that it's like, all right, if I'm going in the first round, I'm going. Like,
what did Shai Gilgeous-Alexander average at Kentucky before he got drafted?
Yeah,
like 6-2 or something like that. And I was like, I remember when he got drafted, I'm like, what is happening here?
He stayed for. No, he was a one and done.
And then now he's the best player in the NBA.
Right.
So.
He's the reigning MVP, and he's possibly going to put up another one. Yeah, at Kentucky, he averaged 14 points.
Oh, did he? Okay. I'm thinking of somebody else then.
But no, there are plenty of examples of that, of like, man, that guy's going in the top 10.
Yeah.
With what he did in college. It's like, oh, the projection. We project him to be a really good NBA player. But anyway, Nate Ament, Tyler Tanner, I think if I had to guess, Ament's going, Tanner's staying.
I would agree.
But I think there's a chance for both of them to flip, depending on what they hear in the draft process.
I mean, it's the same for Nate Ament. I would love to see him stay at Tennessee, get paid a couple $1 million, and I mean, he's a really. I mean, if I were an NBA team, would I be interested? Absolutely,
right,
absolutely. I get it.
The size, the shooting ability,
can put some weight on him.
Right,
I get that, but again, think about how much more prepared he would be for the NBA with one more year.
Right. So both those star players have big decisions to make over the next couple of months, and maybe we get to see one more season back in college for both of them. Let's talk some football here. The NFL owners meetings wrapping up today, and there's been some buzz out of that. We finally got to hear from Robert Saleh and Mike Borgonzi. Had not heard from them since the flurry of moves in free agency. And the one main takeaway that I had was about the interior of the offensive line.
Yeah.
Both of them came out and said something about a draft pick being used there. Mm-hmm. Mike Borgonzi said that those guys are going to compete, and we're not done there. The draft is still coming up. Robert Saleh yesterday said, we're excited about the competition. The guys who are already here are going to have a little bit of a head start on the draft picks. It's like, all right, so the Titans' plan seems to be at center or right guard. They're going to use a draft pick there and have competition, which does not exactly make me feel great about the short term at that position, given that you're going to have 2 new starters at center and right guard.
Well, this is me reading the tea leaves, and I'd be interested to hear Teron's take on this tomorrow. This is my reading of what the plan is. They've got Schlotman and the guy from the Bengals, Volson. Okay. And you've got Jackson Slater. And you've got Zeitler out there.
Yes.
Okay. And I think Zeitler, 15 years in with 17 kids at home, is not in a rush to come do OTAs in minicamp.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think you've got all those in play, including Zeitler. And then you're going into the draft, and you're seeing what you can get in the draft. And if you get what you want in the draft, you proceed with that. And if you don't get what you want in the draft, then all of a sudden Zeitler
looks a lot more attractive.
Let's bring you in, and compete here. But Blake Brockermeyer from Miami has been brought in, reportedly on a top 30. There are guards that they can take, in the 3rd round that could come in and potentially start. I don't think, I know that's scary, but if they're not ready, I feel like they think with Schlotman and Volson. Sorry.
Sebastian Vollmer would be nice.
Yes. With Volson, and Jackson Slater, I think they feel like, okay, if we have somebody who has to play because these other guys aren't ready, we've got people. And if we really bomb out on these picks and don't get who we want, we bring Zeitler in.
He's the safety net.
And we have Slater and Schlotman battle it out for center.
Yeah. And I will say, I think, again, short term, not exactly thrilled with it because this is such a crucial year for Cam Ward, and there are question marks at center and right guard. But I will say, long term, it could end up working out if Jackson Slater is the guy that a lot of people think he can be, and he develops into a starting level player at center or right guard, and you spend a draft pick on a guy who ends up being a long term option. Then you head into next year with Skoronski, Slater, draft pick Latham as 4 of your 5, and left tackle is the only spot that you have to fill.
Yeah. And,
so
and do you keep Dan Moore, or do you try to fill it with something else?
Right.
And that's the big decision. And again, so you want to be draft and develop. Okay. And one of the reasons you want to be draft and develop is second contract for Skoronski.
Yes.
Ideally, second contract for JC Latham.
Yep.
You can't pay everybody.
Right.
Can't pay everybody. So it'd be nice to have, while those guys are on their second contract, to have other guys who are on their first.
Right.
Because those pay much less money. So I think there is a method to the madness. Also, when those guys are going to be on their second contract, Cam's going to need a second contract. And when the quarterback goes in the second contract, that changes everything. Just ask the Chiefs.
Yes, 100%. And I understand why the Titans might be going this way on the interior of the offensive line. Again, if you hit on draft picks, if Jackson Slater develops, it could end up working out great for this team. But that is a big if, considering some of the misses that not this regime, but this team has had on the offensive line over the past 5 years or so.
Yeah. And can you hold this regime responsible for the misses of the last of the two regimes ago?
No.
When they missed repeatedly
Right.
on offensive linemen. You can't.
You can't. It's just, I think that there's the PTSD.
Yeah.
Post Titans stress disorder.
Well, because I remember when the Titans were drafting Cam Ward, and people were like, "Oh, this team can't draft a quarterback.
Right.
It never works out." And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That we've had the same conversation on the opposite end of the spectrum about the running backs. It's like last year, everybody said, "Oh, look at this organization's history with quarterbacks. You can't draft Cam Ward." And then this year, it's look at this organization's history with running backs. You have to draft Jeremiah Love.
No
relevance, Your Honor. Like none of it matters.
No,
it's different staff. It's a different front office,
a different team,
different team. Yeah. But the offensive line. It's obviously it has been bad for the past. Since Lawan basically was the last time that they truly, until Skoronski, who we think is a hit, but they could not hit on picks in the draft.
No, I mean,
Nate Davis, I guess, was a solid starter for 4 years, but it's not like he was a Pro Bowler.
No, they didn't offer,
and they let him go. Yeah, and he clearly hasn't done much since then. Yeah. So you haven't been able to find guys that you can build into 10-year starters on the offensive line.
You used a first-round pick on the Panda. Used a second-round pick on Dylan Radins.
Yep. Third on Petit Frere.
I mean, it's like quarterback. I mean, they just whiff.
Right.
And that adds up. I mean, those 3 guys right there should all be starters on this team right now.
In a 6 draft span, you spent 5 top 100 picks on offensive linemen, and only 2 of them are still here.
Yeah.
That's
a problem.
It's not good. So Titans going to have to address offensive line likely in the draft based on what we heard from Robert Saleh and Mike Borgonzi. That will likely come late on day 2, early on day 3. They both had comments about the top of the draft as well. Mike Borgonzi says they are taking the best player regardless of position. Not exactly groundbreaking there, but we'll dive into what we can gather from what Borgonzi and Saleh had to say about number 4. We'll do that next. We are off and running on this Wednesday morning. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Getting ready for the draft. It is officially April. We are just over 3 weeks away from draft night in Pittsburgh, and all of our football offseason coverage is brought to you by Tennessee Brewworks. Finely tuned craft beer for finely tuned fans. Tennessee Brewworks, official craft beer of the offseason coverage on 102.5 The Game. Mike Borgonzi, Robert Saleh both spoke out in Arizona this week and were asked about the top of the draft. And the big buzzwords this year for the Titans is positional value. What do they value in terms of the blue chip positions, your pass rushers, versus a less valuable position like running back or safety or off-ball linebacker, where maybe more of the safer prospects are, Love, Downs, Styles. They're probably the best players, but they play the worst positions. And Mike Borgonzi said they are taking the best player regardless of position. I'm not taking too much stock in that.
You can't.
I mean, again, it's lying season. It's smokescreen season.
They don't want to give away what they're going to do.
I brought up that last year Mike Borgonzi made we won't pass on a generational player. And everybody said, oh, they're taking Travis Hunter. And they ended up being wrong. So everybody.
The Jaguars.
Right. Yeah. Everybody who is saying, oh, they said best player, Jeremiah Love. Maybe it's
Some
Jeremiah
people think Caleb
Love.
Downs is the best player in the draft.
Right. And I think Downs is getting a lot of buzz to the Giants at 5. I don't think the Titans are going to take Caleb Downs at 4, but they could. There really are. There is no scenario that would completely shock me at this point with the guys that we've talked about. I think the least likely one is probably a wide receiver. Like, I don't think they're going to take Carnell Tate at number 4.
I don't think the value is there, but I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people who'd pound the table that it is.
There are a lot of people who really like Carnell Tate. I don't think he's worth the 4th overall pick.
Neither do I.
But outside of that, like, if they took Sonny Styles, would it surprise me? Sure. Would it completely shock me? No. Same with Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
But we're focusing in on Love or the pass rushers. That's where the most.
If it's not one of those 4,
I'd be pretty shocked.
We're all going to be like, whoa.
Yeah. Not shocked. I just said I wouldn't be shocked. I would be more surprised. But like nothing would shock me given this year's draft where there's not really a consensus beyond Fernando Mendoza at 1. Like the guys being talked about from 2 to 10. You could completely flip-flop them, and I don't think anyone would. Right. I've seen David Bailey go as high as 2 and as low as like 9.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really interesting draft month, but everything is still on the table for the Titans as we lead up to April 23rd.
Well, also yesterday, TD was in Arizona, and he asked Robert Saleh about the value of a strong running back room to a young quarterback. He was a sneaky way of asking about Jeremiah Love. Asking about Jeremiah Love. And Saleh, gushed about Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. So Tony just dropped 100 on us last season, which was true.
Right.
But again, he has to. Okay, he has to, because those could very well be his guys. They're not. They are his guys until they're not. And so, I mean, we don't even know if Jeremiah Love will be on the board when the Titans pick it.
Yeah.
And so, and that's what they have. That's why Tony Pollard, if the Titans are in fact taking Jeremiah Love, that's why Tony Pollard is still on the team, because he's not on the team until he is.
Yeah.
And so you've got to continue moving forward with your guys until they're not your guys anymore. So, it's a nice answer. I ran it last night on News 2 at 10, and it's gives you some insight, and some respect for these guys and what they do, but it does not impact that Jeremiah Love is an insane talent and would be an upgrade for almost any team in the NFL. And so you can't read still too much into it. Look, I guess you could read into it. They're not desperate at running back.
Yeah.
They don't have to take one. They could go into the season with what they've got, but it doesn't impact whether or not you take Jeremiah Love.
Yes. You don't. Tony Pollard does not preclude you from drafting Jeremiah Love, but you're right that last year,
that would be like Geno Smith precluding the Raiders from taking Fernando Mendoza.
Right, exactly. Last year, the Titans were able to show their hand a little bit by bringing in Brandon Allen in free agency and not doing anything else quarterback-wise. Wow. And it's like, all right, well, you're picking 1st overall. And it's like, all right, we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get to choose. But you're right. With the Titans, it's like, maybe they want Jeremiah Love, and if he's on the board, no matter who else is there, they're running the card in and taking Jeremiah Love. But Monty Ossenfort in front of him, even if he doesn't want Jeremiah Love, he loves to trade back.
Yeah.
He does. And there could be teams that say, we know we have to get in front of Tennessee to get Jeremiah Love. We're going to move up. So you're right. Tony Pollard is a good safety blanket to have in case something changes.
Now, you could also draft Jadarian Price.
Right.
And still get a good running back.
Or Mike Washington. Or one of these guys.
In the second or the third round. And still, probably be an upgrade over, where Tony is at this point in his career.
Yep.
And save yourself some money.
Right.
Not that they need to, but you spent what, $850 million on the new stadium. I'm sure cash is a little bit of an issue.
I'm sure they'd like to have more. Wouldn't all of us like to have $7 million back?
Yeah. And so, so it's interesting. But again, we are right where you are, Jake, in that the conversation continues to be around the same 4 players. Yes. Could Styles be picked? Yes. Could Caleb Downs be picked?
Yeah.
Yes. Could the receiver?
Yeah, Carnell Tate. Maybe.
Sure. That none of that would blow me away. Any of those guys, I'd be like, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting, but I get it. I see it. Beyond those 7 though, I would just be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I see it.
Like I think back to the 4th overall pick in 2019 when the Raiders and Mike Mayock took Cleveland Farrell. And it's like that
a bad pick.
Stunned people because
it was a terrible pick.
The Titans picked 19th. And I remember talking to my dad earlier that day, and I was like, man, I'd kind of like Cleveland Farrell at 19 if he gets there. And he went 4th. Yeah. And so like that would be like the Titans taking Keldrick Falk at number 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that would be something that would stun me.
Yeah.
Those 7, even though I'd say Tate, Styles, Downs, I'd probably give it like a 5% chance that any of them are the pick at 4. It wouldn't completely shock me if that's the pick. The Titans have
2%.
Yeah. Not a good chance for any of them.
But you don't know. I mean, like you said, they may have seen Sonny Styles and just been like, we have to have this guy on our team.
And the draft surprises us every single year.
It does.
And so I don't think you can take any of those options off the table, but you do look the 3 pass rushers and Jeremiah Love.
Are we doing a mock draft?
We're about to.
Oh, all right.
In the next segment. Let's do it.
Okay.
Cory sent me on Monday night.
1 or 2 of them?
Just 1.
Okay, I need 2.
He sent me one of his mock drafts, and it was good. I liked it. Ruben Bain at 4 was,
it was a meat. And I did 2 drafts. You didn't see the first one. The first one was an offensive-oriented draft. I'll show it to you during the break.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the second one was a real meat and potatoes, no trades, just taking best players. And I got a bunch of really good players. Probably
you did.
Most of them play defense.
You did. And I will, as people who have done these mock draft simulators before know, it's the draft, so it could be realistic. But there are some players that are sitting there in the 3rd round, and you're like, is he really going to be there at 66?
Yeah.
But we can only control what it gives us. We're going to do a mock draft together.
All right.
We have to come to a consensus.
Sure.
If we can't.
So are we picking for us, or are we picking the way we think the Titans will pick?
I would say we pick the way we think the Titans are going to pick.
Okay.
We get inside the minds of Mike Borgonzi, Robert Saleh.
Sure.
And Parker can be the tiebreaker if we cannot come to an agreement on a pick.
Wow.
So we will do that coming up next.
It's a lot of power. I like that.
Yeah.
We will do the Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis 7-round Titans mock draft and see where we end up on the other side.
Vance, he's the tiebreaker.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to join the conversation, you can text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. It is now time for the Jake and Cory 7-round mock draft.
Oh, we're doing 7
We are
rounds.
going to
Let's
go
do
through the Titans full draft, see if we can come to a consensus
Are
on
we
some
making
good picks here.
trades?
No trades.
No
I'm going to
trades,
say no
okay.
trades here. It just gets it gets too easy to take
Well,
some
yeah.
of those trades.
Yeah, well, you could there have been times where I wind up with 18 picks. If you just I'm going to take trades.
Right. I feel like it's easier to just say we're going to stick and pick
Yeah.
and see what we can get
Okay.
and add to this Titans team.
Makes
so
sense.
we're going to do all 7 rounds. We're going to try and come to a consensus on
What
picks.
if we think? Okay, what if the simulator throws out 3 ridiculously bad first picks? Can we reset?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All
if we can make a judgment here if it's just completely out of the box.
Okay.
All right. We are starting now. The Raiders are on the clock. Here are the first 3 picks. All right. It's not completely ridiculous. Fernando Mendoza goes 1.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain goes 2.
Okay, that's
David Bailey goes 3.
okay. You know what? I could see it going the opposite order.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think Bain's going in the top 3. We do get some decent trade offers, but we aren't going to do those.
okay.
So Titans on the clock. It feels like, in my mind, this is a pick between Arvell Reese and Jeremiah Love.
I would agree with that. And I look, Donnie Nicky, former Titan, former Ohio State Buckeye, called me, and he was raving about Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
Just basically said physically, there's nothing this guy can't do. But the one thing he hasn't done is produce on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
All right. So, is he got a high ceiling? Absolutely. Does he have a long way to go to meet that ceiling? I think so. One guy who's ready to play right now and be a superstar is Jeremiah Love. I have no problem turning in that card immediately.
This is funny. It's the way this turned out because this is the one scenario where I'm really split. Like if it's Love versus Bain, I'm taking Love. If it's
Okay.
Bailey versus Love, I'm taking Bailey. But Love versus Reese is the one that gives me trouble because you're right. Arvell Reese, it's all about projection. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, he didn't really sack the quarterback. He wasn't asked to do it in college.
Well,
But
we
we
don't-
can,
but-
he's going to do it in the NFL.
Yeah, but is he a bona fide edge?
right.
We don't. I mean,
And that's why I agree with you. I think I'm ready to turn in the card for Jeremiah Love.
all right, Jeremiah Love.
I
is the
think
pick. I don't have a hard time with this.
This
easy
is the one I struggle with the most because I think Arvell Reese has the highest ceiling of any of the pass rushers. in
I
this
would have
class.
a much harder time with the other two.
Really.
Yes,
I
but I
think
understand what you're saying.
Reese has the highest ceiling, but it's just like you're betting so much on something you haven't seen yet. And so
That's-
with Jeremiah Love, I've seen it. He doesn't have nearly as much wear on the tires as a lot of the previous top 10 running backs do. I'm
Look,
Jeremiah Love.
if
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love isn't in this draft, I'll take Arvell Reese. But Jeremiah Love is in the draft.
Yep.
Give me the running back.
Okay. Jeremiah Love is the pick at number 4 for the Tennessee Titans. So we now wait
To
on the clock at 35. Arvell Reese did go 5 to the Giants. Jordan Tyson goes 8 to the Saints.
Could you imagine that Reese Abdul Carter combination?
Yeah, with Brian Burns there too.
Yeah.
Akeem Messidor goes 19
I wonder
to
if they
the
would
Panthers.
trade Burns in that situation.
Yeah, maybe. You could still get a lot for him.
They could save against their cap too.
A lot of names that I would like the Titans to take going off the board. All right, Titans are on the clock at 35.
All right.
Some of the top players on the board: Caden Proctor, tackle Alabama.
Okay.
Who can also be a wide receiver if need be. You
Okay.
can throw him a screen.
Yes, that's true. We have seen him catch the football. Chris Bell, wide receiver, Louisville. Malachi Lawrence, edge from UCF. Chris Brazel, Zion Young, Traden Stukes, Gabe Jackus. We just talked about him during the break.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bernard. What are you thinking here? Let's just go position wise.
Okay.
You went running back at
Yep.
4. Do you feel like edge is the place you have to turn now?
Well, I think edge is important. I'm also going to look at wide receiver. I think those are probably the 2 biggest spots I'm going to look at that spot. And what's the best value at those 2 positions?
So edge right now, the top 5 edge players on the board: Malachi Lawrence,
Mhm.
Zion Young, Gabe Jackus, Cassius Howell, R. Mason Thomas are
Okay.
all still on the board.
I like Zion Young. I've liked him since the beginning of the draft. I really like Gabe Jackus because he's 6'4", 275, and I think he fits this defensive model really well. But I really liked him in the 3rd round.
Right.
But
and
I don't know that he's going to get there anymore.
when you look at those 5 players, I would love any of those 5 at 66
Yes.
if they can get there. which
Well,
is a big
Zion
if.
Young is not getting there. Zion Young may go in the first round.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the top receivers on the board?
Wide receivers Chris Bell, Chris Brazzell, Jeremy Bernard are all on the board.
So Denzel Boston is off.
Denzel Boston is gone. He went 26 to the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Omar Cooper is gone. He went 24th to the Browns. And then the Casey Concepcion also went 16th to the Jets in this.
You know what? For me, I'm going to stick with my convictions since the beginning of the draft and say Zion Young is the pick.
I do like Zion Young. I think I'm a big Chris Brazzell fan.
Yeah, okay.
As much as I struggle with Tennessee wide receivers because they have not panned out of this Josh Heupel system,
okay.
I look at Brazzell, 6'5". He runs a sub 4.4, and you've seen him be a jump ball 50-50 wide receiver. Like, that's a big threat for Cam Ward down the field. I like Brazzell. I like Zion Young too.
I just think there are other guys in rounds 3 and 4 that I could like as much.
Yeah, and you did go
Brazzell.
offense in round 1, which gives Cam Ward a playmaker.
Yeah. Jermaine Johnson's only under contract for 1 more year.
You're right.
Jacob Martin's under contract for 1 year. You don't know what Femi is at this point. Again, like, who's the second wideout from Southern Cal?
Jacoby Lane. He is still on the board. So
yes,
looking down the board, you've got Antonio Williams from Clemson, Skylar Bell from UConn, Ted Hurst, Jacoby Lane, Zachariah Branch, Elijah Surratt.
That's what I'm saying. You can get one of those guys later, where I don't think you can get, like, if you told me Gabe Jackas was going to be around in round 3.
Yeah, but there's no guarantees.
I don't think he will be. So
I will go Zion Young here. I agree with you that I've been saying over and over the Titans have neglected edge for too long at the top of the draft. I think you're right.
What
they got to go
Parker?
With it. Yeah, Parker, you can be our Amy Adams Strunk.
So I have to decide between Zion Young.
Well, just what are your thoughts?
Are you good with our Zion
Young?
In my ideal world, I'm taking Jeremiah Love and going edge rusher in the second round.
Okay. So, yes. So Zion Young is the pick at 35.
Okay.
All right, we'll do one more here, then we'll go to break and we'll do day 3 on the other side. So 66 is coming up. Jackas just went 40th, so good call. He's there.
Way up.
Let's see.
Man.
Chris Brazzell just went 47th to the Colts. Keontae Scott, who's been a guy that you maybe look at in the nickel, he's gone. Malachi Lawrence is gone. Coming up on the pick, there's still some names I like. Oh, Jeremy Bernard just went 61st to the Rams.
Guy.
That would be, I was hoping he would get there. All right, so on the clock at 66.
Okay.
Wide receiver, of course, is the place we're looking first, I think. Skylar Bell, still there from UConn.
Okay.
Ted Hurst from Georgia State.
Now, I think he's a kind of an off the board type of selection. He's a big play guy.
Yep.
Really thin.
Yes.
Really thin.
Jacoby Lane is still there. Zachariah Branch, Elijah Surratt from Indiana. So those are kind of the top names at wide receiver.
Where do they have Lane ranked?
Lane is ranked 74th overall.
Okay, so he's probably not going to make it to you in the next round. What is the next pick? 101 or 102?
101.
101. All right. Who's available on the interior offensive line? Go to offensive line.
Interior offensive line. You've got Jennings Dunker from Iowa. The guards, there's not a ton of guards that I like on here. Let's see center.
Is Keon Rutledge on there?
He is not. Rutledge is gone.
He already got picked.
Yes, he got picked. At center, you've got Parker Brailsford, Connor Liu, Jake Slaughter is still there, Logan Jones from Iowa. So if you wanted to go center, there are some options there.
I think we can get Logan Jones in the next round. I mean, not Logan Jones, Jake Slaughter in the next round.
So
I think we can get him in 4.
Oscar Delp is there at tight end. I don't know if you want to go tight end, but he is the highest ranked player on the board.
I do not.
I
do not. I want to go interior offensive line. Or, okay, who's available at defensive tackle?
Defensive tackle. Dominique Orange is still there. You were talking about him.
Yeah, I really like him. Really like. What's his rating on there?
He is 93rd.
Okay, so he might be on there at 101.
Yeah, I think wide receiver or interior of the offensive line, like Parker Brailsford from Alabama, could be a decent pick. But if you think we can get Slaughter at 101,
well, I mean, we're talking about guard or center.
Yeah, he's a center.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think he's the best interior offensive center in this draft.
Brailsford?
No, Jake Slaughter.
Well, and that's my point. I think there's quite a few people who think Slaughter is. So I'll tell you what. Who are the top receivers? Bell,
Hurst, Jacoby Lane, Zachariah Branch, Elijah Surratt.
Tell me more about Bell.
Skylar Bell. He is
played at Wisconsin for 3 years.
Yes,
then
originally played at
UConn
Wisconsin,
twice,
so he was a teammate with Chim Dike.
Yeah, how is Wisconsin not better with both those guys?
Yeah, it's their quarterbacks
because they don't have the quarterback situation figured out.
This past year, he had 101 catches, 1,278 yards, and 13 touchdowns.
Size?
6 foot, 185.
Okay.
Don't worry about size. Robert Saul and I will get him in the weight room.
Okay.
So Skylar Bell is up there. Jacoby Lane from USC. He's the outside guy, 6'4", 200.
Yeah.
What was his stats this past year? Here are his comps.
He's also sharing touches with Makai Lemon.
I will say his second highest rated comp, Alec Iamaner.
Yeah.
So you may be getting kind of a repeat of what you already have.
Are you getting a better version?
Right.
Because like when I watch Denzel Boston, I think he's kind of like Alec Iamaner, but a much better version.
I kind of like Skylar Bell. Out of UConn, he has the production. He proved he can do it. Not only, UConn obviously is not high level football, but he did it at Wisconsin too.
Hold on, let's look at the board vertically here. Where's Jake Slaughter on the list of best available prospects?
He's way down. He's 150.
So you could probably get him in the fourth round.
That's why this is
that's what we're talking about.
This simulator's not perfect. I think he's better than the 158 prospect.
I do as well. But if you can get him in the fourth round,
yes, and that's the only reason I'm not taking him here.
So are we thinking wide receiver? That's where I lean with this.
Yes, but I'm leaning Jacoby Lane.
Okay.
And you lean Chris Bell, right?
I lean Skylar Bell. Parker,
Bell.
You break the tie. Bell or Lane?
That's tough. I'm going to go Skylar Bell.
Okay.
Just because I believe he has a little bit more twitch in his games.
Okay. Skylar Bell
Jacoby Lane
is the pick at 66. We will do the third day of the draft coming up next. So far in Jake and Cory's 7-round Titans mock draft, Jeremiah Love, Zion Young, Skylar Bell. I like it so far.
Right.
We will do rounds 4 through 7 on the other side. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you, wrapping up the first hour of the show. And we are going through our 7-round Titans mock draft. Cory sent me a couple of these during the day on Monday, and I was like, you know what? Let's do one of these together on Wednesday. So far, at number 4, Jeremiah Love to the Titans. At 35, Zion Young, the edge from Missouri.
Let's be clear. We took Love over Arvell Reese.
Yes, over
Bain
Arvell
and Bailey
Reese.
were off the board.
Yes, correct. Zion Young was the pick at 35. Some of the guys we considered there, Chris Bell, Chris Brazel, the wide receivers, ended up going Skylar Bell
Lawrence
at 66 over some of the offensive line options and elsewhere. So we have come to a consensus at 101.
Yes. Is that the first pick of the third
This
day?
is the first pick of day 3, yes.
Yes, we have. We think that Florida center Jake Slaughter can be a starter for the Titans. We are going to pick him with the first pick of the 4th round.
So Jake Slaughter is the pick at 101 because that's one of the positions on this team that you look at and it's a real question mark. You immediately upgrade the talent there, and Jake Slaughter can compete for a starting spot.
Slaughter Slater combination?
Yeah, there you go. And the name Jake Slaughter.
Yeah.
I'm running to the podium for Jake Slaughter.
So there you go.
Big Jake Slaughter guy.
I like Jake Slaughter too. I would have taken him in round 3, but I felt like I could get him in round 4.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason I didn't take him.
There were some good options on the board there for other options at center as well. Logan Jones was still there. James Brockermeyer from Miami was still there. So
Brockermeyer has visited the Titans.
Yes.
And so if you miss out on Slaughter, I think he is for us, he's a fallback option. For the Titans, maybe he's option 1. I don't know.
All right.
You can get Brockermeyer late day 3, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you get him 6th.
Titans are on the clock at 142. Again, the picks so far, Jeremiah Love, Zion Young, Skylar Bell, Jake Slaughter. So we've kind of addressed a lot of the big gaping needs that we've talked about with this team. I think we can start to just kind of go best player available here.
Okay, who's that?
Right now, Tristan Lee, the tackle from Clemson, which if you want to go tackle, the guy I'm looking at here, and this is one of TD's guys, Ephesians Prysock, cornerback from Washington.
Okay.
He is 6'4", 190, long, has some speed. He is categorized here as a freak athlete. I think this could be a good pick to add to that cornerback room.
Has he had injury issues?
Let's see.
I can't remember if he's the one who said.
So there's 2 of these long cornerbacks. Tacario Davis is the other one.
I was about to say I like him better.
He already went. He went in the 3rd round, actually.
That's a bit of a surprise.
So Ephesians Prysock, this is a guy, again, that TD has sang the praises of, and TD is going to be with us on the show tomorrow. Doesn't say how many games he's played.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just tells me tackles, but it seems like he's played about the same amount.
Yeah, you know what? I'm good with it. I mean, Robert Saleh likes a big, long safety. I'm a cornerback. When you look at Sauce Gardner, good length there, good arm length. Richard Sherman, another guy who's a tall, long cornerback. So, yeah, and I'm never going to get his name right, but go ahead.
We also pick again in 2 picks.
Yes.
So, at 142, we're going to go Ephesians Prysock, add some depth in the secondary.
Well, potential starter in a couple of years.
Right. Somebody who you hope can.
When you're ready to move on from one of the 2 that you signed.
Right.
And you groom this guy to be your next one. That's the way the Chiefs have done it.
So now back on the clock at 144. The only player that came off the board was Kevin Coleman Jr., wide receiver from Missouri. Where do we want to look here? So we've already
need a new tackle next year.
I agree.
want to look at J.C. Davis. Is he still on the board?
He is not.
Oh, okay.
He is not.
Well, that ruins that.
Tristan Lee from Clemson is the highest rated tackle. Keegan Trost from Missouri, Diego Pounds, Ole Miss are the top 3 tackles. Tight end, there's not a ton there. Sam Roush from Stanford is the top guy. He tested really well at the combine. Let's see. Defensively, maybe look at linebacker.
Yep.
Lander Barton is still there. You can get him later.
Yep.
Caleb Elarms Orr from TCU.
Who's the kid at Oklahoma? The
Kendall Daniels?
No, the lacrosse player from Ohio State.
Owen Heineke.
Owen Heineke. He's still on the board. He's further down.
I think we can get him in the 7th.
Same with Bryce Betcher from Oregon. You could get him later.
Yeah, those are special teams players.
Maybe double up on edge. LT Overton from Alabama is still there.
Okay.
Jay-Sean Barham from Michigan. Kieron Crawford from Auburn, all still there.
Look, I don't know enough about the tackle from Clemson.
Yeah.
But if you think he's good enough for that pick,
I think it might be a good swing tackle.
I think they need to, if they think he could potentially be a starter for them, like give him a year to develop underneath, the new offensive line coach, then I think it's worth taking.
He is the best player on the board by this ranking. So we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Tristan Lee, the offensive tackle from Clemson.
I like taking a tackle for depth and for the possibility that he could be your starter in a year or two.
And I do understand that, Nicholas Petit-Frere was also a former 5-star recruit, so it doesn't always mean much, but he is a former 5-star recruit, and he played 3 years at Clemson as a starter, 6'6", 315. I think this is a guy that maybe you can develop.
And how much has his draft stock slipped because Clemson hasn't been very good?
It's a very good point.
I mean, if Clemson's playing for the national championship, his profile is a lot higher.
All right, we got 2 more picks. We probably need to get to a break. We will do the final 2 picks of this mock draft on the other side and kind of react to what we came up with as a whole. Again, so far, Jeremiah Love at 4, Zion Young at 35, Skylar Bell 66, and then on day 3, Jake Slaughter, the center from Florida, Ephesians Prysock, the cornerback from Washington at 142, Tristan Lee, the tackle from Clemson at 144.
We have no reaches here.
No,
right?
I don't think so.
We've gotten good value. So it's not like we're just, trying to fill holes. We're making strategic picks with good value.
I think so far we've been able to address a lot of the needs for the Titans while also making sure that we're not reaching. You're right. Like Zion Young at 35, I think was very good value and still got Bell at 66. We will make our final picks and we will react to our 7-round mock draft when we come back. Hour number 2 coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 102.5 The Game. Second hour on this Wednesday, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, joined live in studio by Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly at the controls, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We are finishing up our 7-round Titans mock draft. So far, I really like what we've done.
All right.
Jeremiah Love, the pick at 4. We had to decide between Love and Arvell Reese as Bain and Bailey went 2 and 3. Then at 35, Zion Young was the pick, went edge over some good wide receiver options. Skylar Bell, wide receiver out of UConn at 66. And then on day 3, Jake Slaughter at 101, the center from Florida. Ephesians Prysock, long, tall cornerback from Washington at 142. Tristan Lee, offensive tackle out of Clemson at 144. Titans were on the clock at 184. And Parker, we decided during the break, we think we're going to go safety here and, keep it in Middle Tennessee. Jacoby Thomas from Miami, played at MTSU. He's a Tullahoma native, and I think that's a good pick. Brings in some depth in that safety room.
Well, the last MTSU safety to play for the Titans did okay.
It worked out pretty well. Yeah.
There's another one who just got paid to go play for the Cardinals, I think.
Right, yeah, Reed Blankenship.
Yeah.
Texans.
Texans,
yes.
Texans.
So we will go with Jacoby Thomas there. And so he is the pick at 184. Up at 194, let's see. Maybe some help on the defensive line would be good here.
Or linebacker.
Linebacker could be good. Let's see. Linebacker, Lander Barton. He is the best linebacker available.
Let's take him. Let's make. Dude, I love Cody, and I know
Yeah.
people like bang on him for. He's one of my favorite people in that room.
Owen Heineke's still there.
I think
Oklahoma.
you could probably get Owen as
Later,
a preferred
yeah.
walk-on.
Lander Barton is the
preferred free agent.
195th ranked player. You're picking at 194.
I'm good.
All right,
He's
Lander Barton.
long.
I like it. And again, linebacker is one of those rooms where I feel okay about the starters right now. I think you need some depth. So Lander Barton is the pick at 194. We got one pick left.
Is Bryce Betcher still on the board?
Bryce Betcher is still on the board.
Oh, man. I would have liked him there. Dude played center fielder at Oregon in college.
Yeah.
Got some side-to-side agility.
Let's see. 225 is coming up. Man, some tight ends just went off the board. That was kind of the position I was going to look at here. Let's see. I feel like we feel like you're not picking for need in the 7th round, obviously.
Who are the top 5 available?
Top 5 available. Some Clemson players here. Adam Randall, running back Clemson. Cade Klubnik, quarterback Clemson. Colin Wright, cornerback Stanford. Jeff Caldwell, wide receiver Cincinnati. And Tyreek Sapp, edge rusher from Florida.
Yes.
I actually like Sapp.
Yep. So I said that's the pick.
Sapp's the pick. All right. 7th round pick, Tyreek Sapp. And that should wrap up.
You could probably
our
keep
mock
him
draft.
on your practice squad.
Yeah. Most 7th round. I mean, Jalen Harrell is the guy he'd be competing with for the last spot in that edge room. Jalen Harrell was a 7th round pick. Now, he's proven that he can play
5.5 sacks
as a
last year.
rotational player in that room, but at least it pushes him a little bit, adds a little more competition. So there you go. Our 7-round mock draft for the Titans is done. Jeremiah Love is the pick at number 4. Zion Young at 35, Skylar Bell 66, Jake Slaughter at 101, Ephesians Prysock at 142, Tristan Lee 144, and then wrap up with Jacoby Thomas, Lander Barton, and Tyreek Sapp. I like it.
You happy?
I'm happy. I think you added some depth at positions you needed, and you also added some top-end talent in Love, Young, and Bell, who hopefully can be key players for you for the next 5 years.
It's the worst when you're cranking out mock drafts and none of the picks go your way. And you always end up pinching your nose and making a pick.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we really pinched our. I think the 3rd round pick for the wide receiver was the kind of the toughest call that we had.
Yes, I agree.
But I think the rest of them were pretty easy.
Yeah, it is nice when these mock drafts work the way you hope. And it's like, all right, there's the guy that I kind of was hoping to get in this spot. And
I mean, I guess the tackle from Clemson as well.
Right. That one wasn't a nose plug, but it was just like
he was the highest rated player on the board, and I wanted to take a tackle.
Right.
So that all worked out.
No, I like it. I think you add Love, and that is an immediate playmaker for your offense, and it helps Cam Ward out by establishing the running game, but also gives him a safety valve. You add a young, talented player on the edge in Zion Young, where I've said it all offseason. You have ignored edge for way too long early in the draft, and Femi is a good start, but Femi was a developmental player. You need somebody who can come in and play. Yeah. And Zion Young hopefully can do that. And you add some depth at other spots, as well as Jake Slaughter, who could come in and be a starter right away at center. I like it. And we'll take your thoughts on our phone and text line, 615-737-1025. Let's go to the phone lines. Chad in Hendersonville is called in. Chad, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Good stuff. The way I look at these drafts, and the Titans would be no exception, is I am taking, I don't know if there's 350 or how many ever players I want to rank, and I'm ranking them 1 to 300. And I'm spending the last, 3 months, 4 months with every resource, with every guy in my organization, ranking these players, just a big board from 1 to 300. And I don't ever want to hear the term need, position. I don't care. I really don't. And, what happens is these general managers, there's a million examples in these drafts. These guys are all coaches and general managers are fighting for their jobs. And they're not looking out really for the best interest of the franchise.
Which is
they're
why
looking
GM
who can we get
make the pick.
And the GMs make the pick, but the GMs, have a shelf life of like 5 years. And there's been numerous times the Titans have been on the clock, even in the Jeff Fisher era. He's trying to make a pick to save his job.
Yep.
He doesn't give two craps about the Titans 10 years from down the road. Nobody does.
No.
And so I don't want to hear the word need or position. The Titans, we could use some depth at the offensive tackle. No, you're drafting absolutely with every resource imaginable, the best player available, period, with almost zero exceptions. You're going to find an exception. Obviously, if you come down the line and you find out safety is, your top rated player, going down the line, you've already drafted a safety, you have to maybe deviate from that one spot. But it's best available player regardless of position. If the Titans have the number 1 pick, you know who they're drafting? Fernando Mendoza.
No, they're not.
And if you're sitting with 2 quarterbacks, pardon me?
No, they're not.
No, you have to treat that pick
come
as
on, bud. Come on, bud. Then you don't know what you're doing.
Chad, you're telling me Fernando Mendoza
value?
You're saying Fernando Mendoza is the best player in this draft.
Well, then you're trading
that
pick.
That's a point. If you have the number 1, if that's the most valuable pick, then that would be a little bit of an exception. But the point is, you are drafting the best available player. But you got to look at Mendoza, the value he carries. So if you can take that pick and trade it for 2 or 3 number 1s, you're taking that pick. It's value. It's basically stocks and bonds, bro.
If you can trade it, for
what
sure.
carries more value.
They're not picking Mendoza. They're trading the pick.
No,
That's
they
how
would
you
trade
build a franchise. You build a franchise by adding more value when you add personnel. You're adding more value. You're not drafting, hey, I really like this.
But Mendoza
I really like this wide
more
receiver
before he ever plays,
right?
Than when he gets on the field.
Well, then you're wise with that, right? Because you're capitalizing on value.
Yes.
You're taking that pick and then you're trading it.
Yes.
The point is, it's value. It's not need of position. I heard you guys. I really would like to shore up the offensive line. So let's look here at pick, 37 here, and we'll get, we'll get this center. No, you're taking the best physical player, the biggest, most value you can find.
We got a center with the first pick in the 4th round, who I didn't know would be available there, and who I think can start for my football team.
That's a value pick. But where does he sit?
We took the tackle.
Where does he sit? Where does he sit? Would be my question on your big board. If you've got a wide receiver, you've got a quarterback that you've got rated 1 spot ahead of him. Hey, Ozzie Newsome, how did he build those Baltimore? He drafted best player available with almost zero exception. That's the secret, my brother.
Thank you for the call, Chad. And I think that call started off as a good point of like, hey, you should be taking best player available.
And he is right about that. But he just went too far.
And then we just fell off a cliff.
He was offended when I said you're not taking Fernando Mendoza. Is Fernando Mendoza the best pound-for-pound player in this draft?
No, but that doesn't matter. He's the first pick. And so you're trading the pick.
But he contradicted himself even by his own. He said, rank them 1 through 300 and take the best player on the board no matter what. He said, if you have the first pick, you take Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza is not the best player in this draft.
I don't know if anybody has him ranked number 1 as the best player.
No.
People have Caleb Downs ranked as the first player. They have Jeremiah Love ranked as the first player.
Well, in the way he's putting it, it's like, all right, you come to the clock 9 times in a draft. the number one player on your board is a cornerback every single time. Are you taking 9 cornerbacks?
Well, look, he's not entirely wrong. The GMs, they do rank the players.
Yes.
Like 1 through 300. They rank them.
Yes.
And then they kind of sub-rank them.
It's a horizontal, vertical board.
Yes, by position. And so, and there is positional value that gets weighed into it. There's more value for an edge than there is for a safety.
Right.
And so if you have 2 guys who are really close, that can weigh into it. You do need to simplify things. You don't need to oversimplify things.
100%.
Otherwise you could just program your list into a computer,
right,
and then just press go on draft day.
Spit out who's the top player on our list. Send in the card.
And that's not the way it works.
He says, I don't want to hear anything about positions. Different players are going to have different values to different teams. For the Titans, you just spent the first overall pick on a quarterback. So Fernando Mendoza is not nearly as valuable to you as he would be to the Jets or the Raiders. For the Bengals, who they're spending close to $100 million on Chase and Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
A wide receiver in the first round maybe isn't as valuable to them as a pass rusher.
Or maybe it is, so that they can move on from one of those guys.
Right. I don't know. But you're right. If it was as simple as rank them 1 through 300 and spit out the queue, the draft wouldn't be nearly as interesting as it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I always say there are teams that didn't pick Adrian Peterson because they had a running back. There are teams that didn't pick Aaron Rodgers because they had a quarterback.
Yes.
And a lot of times that can be short-sighted because you can't not pick a great player because you have somebody.
Yes.
All right. You're allowed to get better at those spots.
Right.
It's kind of like what we're talking about with Jeremiah Love at number 4. The Titans have Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's a good player.
Right.
But we're talking about replacing him with a guy that we think is a generational type player. And so, that's why we say, Jeremiah Love, when the Titans pick at 4, if Jeremiah Love is on the board, he's probably the best player on the board for most boards out there.
Yeah.
So, that's what we're talking about. When we took the offensive tackle, he was the best player on the board. It fit a need and it fit the value. And again, like I said, we took a guy in the 4th round who we think can be a starter.
Right.
I'm never going to apologize for that.
It's one of those things where it's not one side or the other. It's not completely best player available. Whoever is the top player on your board, you pick him. Yeah. But you also don't want to get too caught up in drafting for need. If there's a player you think is going to be a good player, you take him and you figure out how he's going to fit into the roster later.
I'm like 80% of the way there with him.
Right. Yeah. That's what I said. He started off on the right foot.
Yeah. But it just went a little, like most things nowadays, it went a little too far.
Right. And he's talking about creating value for the team. What value does having
2 quarterbacks,
Fernando Mendoza and Cam Ward, one of them
if you draft Mendoza, teams know you're desperate to get rid of one of your quarterbacks.
Right.
And so the value goes down.
It's like a car. It loses value the second you drive it off the line.
Right. And so, the value is in before the pick is made.
Right.
And so that's when you make the trade.
No, and I understand what I don't know what point he was trying to make. Like, if you had the first pick, you'd trade it.
Yeah.
And you'd get value for it, for sure.
Again, if you had the first pick, you probably aren't picking Mendoza because you don't have him ranked as the highest rated player on the board.
Right.
So
exactly. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll get to some of your reaction on the text line about our mock draft when we come back. We'll talk some college basketball later on this hour as well. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Tee it up with us at the 5th Annual 615 Open, May 28th at Hermitage Golf Course. We are once again supporting Folds of Honor to help them fund life-changing scholarships for families of America's fallen heroes. Register now to play or sponsor at 615open.com. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. We did our 7-round mock draft. I won't go through all the picks. They're out there on Twitter for you if you want to check it out, at Lyman Jake on X. But the first 3 picks, Jeremiah Love, Zion Young, Skylar Bell. Did get Jake Slaughter at the top of the 3rd round as well, who could start at center. Couple of texts on the text line. Lenny says you guys will probably get mock fired. I thought it was okay. Lenny likes to jab at us a little bit.
I just want to know what, and that's fine. But what don't you like about it?
That would be my question. Like what picks would get us mock fired?
Because I like this draft.
I think it worked out well.
I think even at 225, I think Tyreek Sapp is good value.
Yes, and it adds some depth to that edge room, even though I think even with the Zion Young pick, you feel like you've got your 5 pass rushers pretty set, but it can't hurt to add competition. Here's an interesting question that we can wrap up this conversation on. Alex from Montreal, because we were given the choice of Jeremiah Love versus Arvell Reese.
Yes.
David Bailey, Ruben Bain went off the 2 picks before.
Yeah.
If it was Love versus Bailey, I said I would pick Bailey. Would you go Jeremiah Love or David Bailey?
I'd be sitting here hemming and hawing. I really would. I would. And the thing is that completely changes the draft. Well, it doesn't completely change. It changes the 2nd round.
Right. Because you then haven't addressed an offensive weapon for Cam Ward, which,
well, I guess if you take a receiver then in the 2nd round, then it changes your 3rd round.
Right. And maybe you go Jadarian Price in the 3rd round and boom, you just flip the order around.
I don't think he's going to be there.
I don't think so either. I saw Daniel Jeremiah had him going 32nd.
Yeah.
So into the 1st round. That's one I go Bailey. I think Bailey is the nice merger of what makes Arvell Reese a good prospect and what makes Ruben Bain a good prospect. You get the best of both worlds with David Bailey.
I really like Bain.
I struggle with it. This is the one thing. If the Titans take Ruben Bain on April 23rd, it's going to be a tough show for me on Friday because
not me. I really like Ruben Bain.
I love the player. And if you listen back to our shows after the college football playoff, I was all in Ruben Bain. Yeah. He can be the 4th pick. It's just the idea of picking a guy who is an exception to the rule.
He got cold feet.
Corey. I got cold feet.
Just watch the tape. Just watch the tape. He's a violent, physical, explosive football player. He's a bulldozer. He's thick from the waist down. He's not going to get hurt. Okay. He can collapse the pocket. I mean, look, if they were still playing a 3-4, then yeah. All right. I'm not going to probably take him, but they're in a 4-3 now. And I think in that 4-3, I think he's really good. I
think you look at every draft pick is a risk, right? There's no sure things.
No.
I think David Bailey is like if you're playing roulette and you're betting on red or black. Like that's
50-50.
Like
not even. That's like 48.
As in if you're going to get a star player, right? Like I view it as a much safer bet. With Ruben Bain, I'm looking at it based on what you've, and this is just based on what the guys who are like them have done in the past.
I think what you're trying to say, and I'm gonna try to put words in your
mouth.
Go ahead. Bailey has a higher ceiling.
I don't even know if I would say that. I think he has a higher floor.
Oh, okay.
Like I think Ruben Bain,
I think Bain has a higher floor, but maybe a lower ceiling.
Ruben Bain, his arm length, no one with that short of arms has ever had a 10-sack season.
I'm willing to bet Bain breaks the record.
That's a big bet to make.
I'm willing to make it.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying is if Mike Borgonzi's willing to make that bet, just know that if he gets fired, it's because you looked and you said, everybody else who's taken a player with that short of arms, they failed. This one's different. And if he's not different, everybody can point to and say, all the historical data was sitting right there in front of you and you ignored it.
Okay, but we all remember Mike Mamula, right? Or Mike Mamula, as the commissioner called him. Off the charts measurables at the combine. Off the charts.
Yeah.
And just a mediocre NFL.
No,
player.
and I understand. There's plenty of examples of guys who are
off
physically built and they're
Nicholas
freak
Petit
athletes.
Frere.
Right.
And 6'5", 315, 5-star player, agile, Look,
And that's what scares
Andre
me about
Dillard.
Arvell Reese, right?
Andre Dillard, giant, looks like a professional wrestler.
Arvell Reese is one of those guys too, where it's like you look at the physical tools and you say he's a dude, but he didn't produce. That's why I think Bailey, you've got the best of both worlds. He sacked the quarterback. He has production, and he's got the traits that make you think, hey, that's central casting for a pass rusher in the NFL. With Ruben Bain, you are saying that he has to be the exception to a 20-year rule of there has not been a sub 31-inch arms pass rusher drafted in the first round in 20 years. But you're going to take him fourth overall.
Are we talking about stand-up edges? Or are we talking about hand in the dirt defensive end? Because most teams have gone
edge player,
but most people have gone 3-4.
No, right? I understand that.
And he is the same position in a 3-4 as Jeffrey Simmons is.
He's undersized.
He's fine.
I just think
you know who sees the same size as? Nick Bosa. He's the same size as Nick Bosa.
How long are Nick Bosa's arms?
I don't know, but Nick Bosa's a baller.
I understand. It's not about
no, but you're saying he's
not
undersized.
About size.
But Nick Bosa's not undersized.
But he can play on the edge because he has length.
All right, Ruben Bain is like putting Godzilla loose on the defensive line. He may have little tiny arms, but he will destroy everything in front of him. I have no concerns. No concerns.
If they pick him, I just look at it and say, Mike Borgonzi made a bet and ignored historical context with that measurement. But
that's
it
why
works
you
out,
study. That's why you watch and you see how does he manage to overcome.
No, and I know, and I if you listen back to me talking about Ruben Bain, I love the player. I just think at 4, it's too big of a risk.
Aaron Donald, 280-pound defensive tackle in an era where they're all 310.
Yeah,
and he's easily the best in the game.
Are you betting on Ruben Bain to be Aaron Donald?
No, but were the Rams betting on Aaron Donald to be Aaron Donald?
They did it at 13. I'd take Ruben Bain at 13.
No, but I mean, I think they took him at 10 or 11.
You might be right. But it was outside of the top 10.
It was shocking that he fell that far.
If the Titans traded down and took Ruben Bain, sign me up. I think at 4, it's too big of a risk.
I disagree. But you know what? That's the beauty of it.
Well, we're going to find out.
And again, I think we're a little different in that I like football players. And so I like to put on the tape and go, that dude's a player. And that's where it starts for me. The measurables are kind of like tiebreakers and like nuggets, but more than anything, I look at the tape.
I agree. And if he had 31.5-inch arms and it wasn't a complete anomaly, I think I could get behind it. But
you know who else had short arms? Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I know he compared himself to Mike Tyson.
And it didn't matter. Mike Tyson destroyed everything in front of him.
But this is you're coming up with examples.
Yeah, I am coming up with examples.
Who are exceptions
Godzilla,
to rules.
Mike Tyson,
and
the T-Rex.
If Ruben
the
Bain,
ultimate apex predator.
If Ruben Bain is the pick at 4, I will be rooting for him. I want the Titans to succeed. I just think at number 4, it's too big of a risk. It's too big of a risk to basically.
Look, they're all a risk.
You're ignoring historical context.
Yes, I am, because I can watch tape.
I can too. He's a good football player, and I think he's going to be a good football player. But
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
No, and me too. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
If I'm wrong on, if you're wrong on David Bailey, you're wrong.
I'd rather be wrong at 10, 11, 12 than 4. If you're picking the top 5, I think you got to find a guy who you feel good is going to be a 10-year pillar for your team.
Absolutely, I agree.
And you're betting against everything that's happened in NFL history to say Ruben Bain is going to be that guy. We'll get to your phones coming up next. 615-737-1025. We'll continue the conversation. We'll try and get to some college basketball later on in the show as well. But I want to continue this conversation. We got some texts. We got some calls. We'll get to you coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Parker coming back with some Ruben Bain highlights as Cory and I got into one of our old-fashioned disagreements over Ruben Bain and his arm length.
You like King Kong. I like Godzilla.
Speaking of Mike Tyson, 1025 The Game and Team Boxing League have your chance to win a pair of VIP tickets as Nashville Smash takes on Phoenix Fury at Municipal Auditorium on Friday, April 17th. You can text the keyword FIGHT, F-I-G-H-T, to the game text line at 615-737-1025 to enter to win. Let's get your reaction. Cory thinks that you can bet on Ruben Bain as the player, even with the short arms. I say it's too big of a risk. Let's go to the phone lines. Kenny, the mailman, is called in. Kenny, always great to have you on. What you got for us?
Thank you very, very much. You know, we spend a lot of times talking about a symptom, but let me ask you, what is the real issue? Is the NFL draft an art or a science?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say it's more of an art. I don't think there was a science. Like, if there was a science, people would have perfected it at this point.
Well, I mean, not every peg fits in every hole. All right. Puka Nacua had speed issues coming out of the draft.
Yep.
Dropped him to round 5.
Yes.
Did okay.
Right.
All right. And so, it goes to the whole draft day. What's his thing?
Yeah.
What's his thing? And can we live with it? And
Yeah.
can we succeed despite it?
Did it seem to matter?
And so, a lot of this is finding about what a guy's thing is and is it too big of a problem? And you think his thing is too big of a problem. I think everything I've seen is, for him, it's not a problem. And so that's where we disagree.
Yeah, I almost want to say it's a scientific art.
Yeah.
Get your measurables in line, but you can't line them up 1 to 300 and pick them. You have to be able to adjust, float. What we don't see, you spend hours talking to behind the scenes to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I have a condominium complex that's close to the facility, and each year, 7 or 8 of the rookies live on my route. Some of them are the nicest people you've ever met. Had one that was functionally illiterate, and 2 or 3. I'm not joking. I would tell you off the record, and you'd go, "Yeah, I know that guy." And 2 or 3 that could not follow the simplest instructions.
Well,
and so it's like you got to know the behind the scenes they're never going to tell us.
Well, I think Isaiah Wilson is a perfect example of what you're talking about, because here's a guy with all the measurables in the world. I mean, he is the size of Sasquatch. I mean, he's just giant. But the Titans didn't learn that he didn't want to be a football player. Andre Dillard completely looks the part, but he's not a combatant. He doesn't like to rumble. And at offensive line, so you have to learn who these guys are, what makes them tick, what's going on inside their chest to find out partially if they're going to be successful on the field, Kenny.
When I see y'all at a remote, I'll tell you the behind-the-scenes story. One player wanted to hire me as his personal assistant because I knew how to pay checks and bills, and I was talking to him, and I said, "Don't you have an agent?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and they go, "Hey, they're supposed to line people up for you to do this. Some of these guys are just wandering around, bumping into walls."
Well, agents are happy to take their money.
Yeah, we don't know the full story. Listen, y'all have a great day.
You too, Kenny. And I think you make a good point about the old, like, draft day is a flawed movie when it comes to the process of the NFL draft. But that is a good point of, it's like, everybody has something. No one is a perfect prospect. You have to find out if it matters. And that's why I've come around on Jeremiah Love, because the only but with Jeremiah Love is, but he plays running back. And it's like everything else about him I really like.
Well, I know we got another call here, but I do want to bring up, like, Dave McGinnis is a guy I've talked to a lot because we used to travel with the Titans when I used to do the coaches show.
Yeah.
And so I would fly in the team plane and ride on the bus. And I would sit next to Coach Mack a lot because he coached with the Bears. And we would have Ditka stories. Well, Jim Finks is one of the great NFL GMs of all time. He built the Bears in '85, and then he built that Saints team with all those linebackers. Back when he was the Bears GM, they had 4 scouts. 4. It was their entire staff.
Wow.
They weren't overcomplicating it.
Right.
They found football players, and they drafted Richard Dent, and they drafted Dan Hampton, and they drafted Walter Payton, and they drafted Willie Galt, and they drafted Jim McMahon, and they drafted Keith Van Horn, and Jimbo Covert, and Mark Bortz, and Jay Hilgenberg. Draft. They drafted football players. They didn't get caught up in all the numbers. The numbers are important. I mean, they drafted Willie Galt because he had world-class speed.
Yep.
All right. That was part of it. But more than anything, they went and found football players. And so I think that's, for me, where it starts.
I agree with you. That's a big part of it, but they wouldn't measure the measurements, the measurables, if they didn't matter.
I agree with you. But you are deciding that Bain can't be successful based on his arm length. And
I'm saying it's too big of a risk that he's not going to be successful.
And I'm not worried about him being successful. If you were debating whether he was a better prospect than this guy because of arm length potentially, but you are like saying he is too big of a risk. There's a chance he could not be good because of that arm length.
I'm saying that if you look at all of the guys who have had his that short of arms, they haven't had success.
It's fine.
And they haven't been taken in the first round.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'll show you some of there are two guys who have been drafted, not just in the first round, who have been drafted with that short of arms in like the last 10 years. And like that is how short his arms are.
Look, I just watched Godzilla versus Kong, and Godzilla won. All right. He dominated. His foot was on Kong's chest when it was over. Kong's arms were longer. It didn't matter. Godzilla's a powerhouse.
We just watched Will Campbell in the Super Bowl just get dominated.
He's a tackle.
I know, but he had the arm length question, and Mike Vrabel said, it doesn't matter. We're going to take him.
Yeah.
And,
he could also be a guard.
And maybe that's where he ends up. But
maybe.
Let's go back to the phone lines. We got some callers. Let's go to James on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. James, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm just wondering, I think if Borgonzi picks this man, it's because he likes Bain. And as far as the arm length, my thing is, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the fight of the dog, and you understand that.
Yeah.
And John Randall seems to be a classic example of that. He wasn't even drafted, and he was undersized, and nobody wanted him. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking maybe there is something to this young man.
No, there's definitely something to the young man. We're just debating about value at 4.
Yes.
And I think that, James, that's one of the important things to consider here is, Jake isn't saying he's saying he'd love him at 11.
Yeah.
Love him at 11. He just doesn't love him at 4.
I think the risk is too big when you're trying to get a cornerstone player for your team.
And I have seen enough where I think he's the anomaly. I think he's a successful NFL player.
And I get it that he is that good when you turn on the tape. Like as it was Robert Saleh who said his tape is undeniable, and I agree. The tape is ridiculous.
He's Thanos. He is
so much fun to watch. It's just I struggle with.
He won it with me with the haircut at the combine. Or the lack of one.
Yes.
I'm
just
this
all over the place.
Just wants to play football. Give him to me. Like, maybe this is a long branch to stand out on. I don't feel like it is for me, but maybe it is. I like the player a lot. And that's it.
Let's go back to the phone lines once again. Adam from Portland is called in. Adam, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Well, I already talked to Jake about this, but Cory,
yeah,
I feel like with Bain, because he's my favorite player, and I feel like I'm beating the table by myself now, and nothing's happened since then. Like it was, Bain would be a great pickup. Now he's got baby arms. Well, his baby arms didn't slow him down at all in the college football playoff when he dominated every good team in college football by himself. Like he was the dominant player that we remember. Not Mendoza. Indiana was awesome, but we remember Bain carrying a number 10 Miami that far. That's what I remember. And I think hopefully everybody should kind of lock their head on that. He looks like somebody that the Steelers would have drafted in the 70s. Like he looks like that guy. Like I don't know, man. I don't
pretty
see the
long,
arms. If he's already proven his whole life that he can play with the arms as well as he can. So don't start judging it now. It's weird.
Well, look, people are going to judge because that's their job. All right. And and they're trying to make sure they don't get it wrong. And like we said, you turn over every stone to find out what's this guy's thing. And quite obviously, arm length is his thing. And you have to decide, will it hold him up at the NFL level? He's right. It hasn't held him up at any level to this point.
Yeah.
He was one of the most dominant players in college football last year. You just watch him. He is a wrecking ball, a relentless wrecking ball. And so, you have to decide. Now, do you think there's a possibility he winds up being a defensive tackle? I mean, I guess there's some people who think that could be possible, that he ends up putting on another 20 pounds.
Yeah, I think if you move him inside, he's going to have to bulk up.
But then he's not the pass rusher that he is now.
Right. You're not getting the value that you want it for.
No.
I mean, and for Adam's point there, yes, he dominated in college. Peter Skoronski was a phenomenal left tackle at Northwestern.
Well, he also played like 4 positions in 4 years.
Well, I know he moved around, but the reason he got drafted is because he played really good left tackle at Northwestern. He wasn't even given a chance to play left tackle in the NFL.
But they knew when they drafted him he was going to play guard
because he had short arms.
But they valued him to play guard high enough to pick him at that spot.
I understand. And
the short arms were not a concern because they knew where they wanted to play him.
They also weren't historically short. They were short. They weren't historically short. We're never going to agree on this, and we're going to find out on April 23rd.
You know when we'll agree on it? When Reuben Bain's hoisting the Lombardi for the Titans.
When Reuben Bain gets his 12th sack as a rookie, I will,
Okay, let's play this. I know we got to go to break, but before we go to break, Reuben Bain, say the Titans take him at 4 and take David Bailey's your guy.
Yep.
How many sacks would Reuben Bain have to have his rookie year for you to consider it a success?
8+.
And how about David Bailey?
What if David Bailey is the pick versus if
Bailey. Would your expectations for Bailey be higher than it would be for Bain? Because they're two different players.
No, I think year one I would, but what I'm saying is if I take a guy at 4 as a pass rusher, I expect you to be a 10 sack a year guy at minimum.
Yeah,
and I think Bailey, when you look at the production in college and the frame and the physical traits, Bailey is more likely to be that guy than Reuben Bain.
Maybe. I mean, I can I see him, getting more sacks on a yearly basis? Yes. Do I see Bain being a more destructive play in and play out player?
That's right. Bain is a better run defender.
I see Bain playing behind the line of scrimmage a lot more, setting the edge a lot harder. And so so am I saying 10 sacks versus 14, but I'm getting a lot more on the other 2 downs? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go there. I mean, I think that's part of my allure of Bain, is watching him all 3 downs, not just rush the passer.
Yeah. No, it's fair. I think Bain showed that he can be more of an all-around player on the defensive line than Bailey did. But
and the other thing that we've talked about, and I haven't brought up here today, but we've talked about before, is I like the violence level of Bain compared to Bailey.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean I don't like Bailey. I'm like, if the Titans take Bailey at 4, I'm not going to question it. He's had a great career. We're splitting hairs,
right,
over 2 really good players.
Right, exactly. And I always want to preface this with, I'm not saying that I think Reuben Bain should go undrafted because of the arm length. Like, I'm just
you're
saying
talking about at 4.
As a top 5 pick, I think it's too big of a risk.
If you were picking at 7, you'd probably be good with it.
I think I'd feel better about it. And honestly, the trade down is part of it too. It's like, if I get Reuben Bain and an extra 2nd round pick, sign me up for that.
Yeah.
But just Reuben Bain is too big of a risk. 615-737-1025. Fun conversation here in hour number 2. We will wrap up the 2nd hour coming up next. We'll talk some Preds in hour number 3 and much more. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025, The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on your Wednesday morning. It's been a fun hour. Kind of got away from what we intended to do in this hour, but it's been a fun conversation looking at Ruben Bain and whether he could be worth the 4th overall pick. So during the break here, to wrap up this conversation, I looked up on mockdraftable.com.
Okay.
You can sort edge rushers from 2010 on by their arm length. Here are some of...
He didn't tell me he was doing this, by the way.
I did not. Here's some of Ruben Bain's
comps.
Okay.
Caden
Curry. All right. I'll stay away from the ones that are this year, which actually there
Okay.
are a few that are this year. Cassius Howell also would be included in this.
And there's a lot of people talking about him
With short arms?
Yes. Cassius Howell, actually shorter arms than Ruben Bain.
Oh my God. How does he eat?
I knew they were...
How does he function?
I knew they were short.
How does
I
he
did
wipe
not know they
himself?
were that short. Nate Williams, defensive end, Ohio State 2013. Sutton Smith, Northern Illinois 2019. Tyree Johnson, Texas A&M
I heard of him.
2022. Ricky Elmore, Cheta Azugwu, Dean Lowry, Wyatt Hubert, Elijah Ponder, Ethan Downs, Marcus Golden. There's the first name that I recognize.
So, okay, and that's kind of my point here. We weren't talking about any of these guys being top 10 picks going into a draft. You're just picking guys who had short arms and didn't produce in the NFL.
But these are all of the guys who had short arms. The guys I've been
but
reading
none
lately,
of those guys were Ruben Bain in college.
I get that, and that's why he's going to be a first-round pick, right? Like, he's going to be a first-round pick because of the production.
Yes.
But you're looking...
None of those guys produced like Ruben Bain. So what's the conversation? Give me a guy who produced like Ruben Bain, who has short arms and then didn't produce in the NFL.
Trey Hendrickson is the first one I found that I'm like, okay, that's a dude, 32-inch arms, so over an inch longer than Ruben Bain.
He's okay. He just got paid $30 million.
It's one guy though.
But you don't have another comp. Your comps stink.
Because Ruben Bain is
because none of those guys were Ruben Bain.
Ruben Bain is in the first percentile of arm length. Like that is what I'm saying. It's not like he's 25th percentile of arm length where there is no comp because no one has ever done this before.
Okay. So he's uncompable.
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. As long as we admit that. Look, if you came to me with 5 other guys who were dudes coming out of college, and they were like, hey, this guy's going to be a high first-round pick, but arm length is a question. But none of those guys are, I mean, what's the kid from Texas A&M? Tyreek?
Tyree, I just closed it out.
I remember him.
The point I'm making is there are no comps because he would have to do something that no one has ever done before.
You know what you could argue? He already has.
And that's why he's going to go in the first round.
Yeah.
But
so he's proven it's not a problem for him.
To go
where
from
the other guys was a problem.
To go from not having a first round pick in 20 years that has had that short of arms to being a top 5 pick feels like a big leap.
I'm all right, man.
Well, Keegan, who is on the Bain train, he's the conductor of the Bain train. He loves your comps suck comment. I don't have comps because there is no comp. He has that short of arms. It is in the first percentile.
Look, Russell Wilson's 5'10". He won the Super Bowl.
This is like if Russell Wilson was 5'6".
No,
like that.
No, it's not.
It's the first percentile.
Yes,
it is literally.
Okay. Russell Wilson is the first percentile at 5'10".
5'6" is probably an exaggeration.
Russell Wilson made it okay for Kyrie or whatever his name is. The guy who just went to the Vikings from the
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. He made it okay for Kyler Murray to get drafted first overall. He made it okay.
See, I'll end with this. I am okay if you pass on Ruben Bain and he turns into an all-pro because you followed the historical data that says that he's probably not going to be a star. Like, I am okay with passing on him. If that's what Mike Borgonzi, I don't know if he'll ever say this, but if it's, hey, the arms were a problem for us. It's never happened before. We weren't willing to take that big of a risk. And he turns into an all-pro. I'm fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. But if you take him and he is a bust and you had all that data in front of you and you ignored it, that's a problem.
Here's the problem I have. If he goes out and he's an all-pro, all right, or just a Pro Bowler
Yeah.
every year, and you ignored the data that was in front of you, which was 4 years of film at Miami of him destroying everything in front of him, then I got a problem with that.
It's not Reuben Bain or a bum. You're picking Reuben Bain against the best players in this draft, and I would take some of the other players who don't have as big of red flags as Reuben Bain.
Okay. Let me ask you this. This is impossible. But say Love, Bailey, and Reese all come off the board. Or wait, no.
If
Mendoza. Say it's Mendoza, Bailey, Love. And
okay.
You got Reese and Bain.
Give me Arvell Reese.
Wow.
Arvell Reese at least.
Repeat that again.
If it's Reese versus Bain.
Like if it's Mendoza, Bailey, Love in the draft. And so you've got Reese and Bailey and Bain.
You're going Reese.
I go Reese. I think, yes, you're projecting, but I think the red flag is smaller.
Oh, I think the red flag is he hasn't produced and didn't have a sack the last 6 weeks of the season.
And
you don't even know if he's an edge.
April 23rd is going to be fun. It is going to be fun. Especially,
by the way, it's April Fool's Day and no one has pulled anything out.
I know.
Thank you.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We will get to some Preds coming up next. Talk about a big weekend coming up for Nashville as they go out west, fighting for that final wild card spot. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Final hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Amidst the Ruben Bain debate there, we did miss that the Titans signed KJ Osborne.
That's per Adam Schefter.
Adam Schefter about 20 minutes ago. His best seasons came with the Vikings. He played all 17 games in 2021, 2022.
He was about 50 catches a year for 650 yards.
Yes, he had over 500 yards 3 straight seasons, but then in 2024 played just 8 games, had 7 catches, did not play at all last year.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, he was with the Patriots in the Drake May rookie year where they really struggled, and Jared Mayo was their coach. And so things really went south. And I have nothing to this. He suffered a major concussion in 2023. And I don't know if the two things are tied together or not, but, has not really produced since then.
Yeah.
So you can't expect him to produce because he hasn't for 2 years. But I think it's a gamble worth taking.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a big-bodied receiver who's still fairly young, who has produced in the past, and maybe he's healthy now and ready to go. I don't know.
I think it's, again, like a low-risk kind of guy. You bring him in, he can compete in camp, and
you can cut him.
Right. If you don't draft a receiver, which I think they should, if you don't draft a receiver, it at least gives you some back-end depth for that wide receiver room. So
the guy who's played.
KJ Osborne has been signed by the Titans. Again, did not play a snap last season. He was on the Falcons practice squad. Yeah.
For a team, again, we were looking up why he hasn't played, and we were both expecting to see some catastrophic injury, and we did not find it.
Yes.
So there's an interesting story there.
Yeah. And Keegan says the same thing that you said. This season's Van Jefferson. I would say lower than that,
yes,
like a rung lower.
My initial reaction was that. But then when we looked into the last 2 years, I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's a name we recognized, and we're like, oh, yeah, it's depth wide receiver.
This is a flyer.
Yes. So KJ Osborne has been added to the Titans per Adam Schefter about 25 minutes ago. But let's get into the Predators.
By the way, he went to the Commanders.
Yes, he did.
Van Jefferson.
Yes, he did.
So
they swapped. Yes. Little trade, Van Jefferson for KJ Osborne. The Commanders got a few Titans there with Chigakonkwo, and there was another one that
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, well, Marcus Mariota is there.
McWeapon.
The McWeapon, Jeremy McNichols is there too. Yeah,
I love that dude.
I miss the McWeapon.
I do too. I root for him. I watch the Commanders just to watch Marcus and McWeapon.
Yeah,
and now I'll watch Jig,
especially when Jaden Daniels is out. So if Jaden Daniels gets hurt again, there's a chance that the weapons
Washington
unit
Titans
could be Marcus Mariota, Jeremy McNichols, Chigakonkwo, Van Jefferson all on the field at the same time.
Boom.
Super Bowl. Here we come. Anyway, let's get into the Predators. We spent the first 2 hours on the Titans.
No, we spent an hour on the Titans and
an hour on Ruben Bain. Yes. Yeah. No, that's correct. The Predators are getting ready for a huge 3-game stretch.
Season deciding 5-game road trip.
Right. You got 8 games left in the season. You are 1 point up in the final wild card spot. So every game is important, but these next 3, of course, are the ones that really are going to decide the season. You've got Kings, Sharks, Kings all on the road in short order. The Kings right now are just 1 point back. Yep. They play tonight. So good news for the Preds. The Kings coming off a back-to-back tomorrow night in LA. They play the Blues tonight. The Sharks play the Ducks tonight. And the Preds will play them coming up on Saturday. I think those are the 2 biggest threats to the Predators.
Okay. This is my estimation.
Yep.
You need 2 regulation wins in those 3 games.
Agreed.
You've beaten the Sharks 14 times in a row.
Yes. And still play them again here at home in the second to last game of the season.
It needs to be 15. And then you need to win one of the 2 in regulation against the Kings.
Yes.
You can't afford to give them points even when you're getting 2. You need more separation than that. Ideally you win them all.
Yes.
But that's pie in the sky. So I will say if you can get 4 points in regulation, I mean the Sharks game more than the Kings game, you can accept an overtime win.
Yeah.
But the Kings needs to be in regulation. And so if you could get a regulation win and an overtime loss, that would be great. I mean, obviously 2 wins would be ideal.
But yeah,
I think, splitting 2-2 with the Kings is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, you want to do better than that. But if you lose to the Sharks, then you got to beat the Kings both times.
Right. The one thing you can't have is you can't come out on the wrong end of the points equation here with the Kings and the Sharks, right? You play each of them 2 times. You got to get more points than they do in those games.
You've got to, with these 3 games, you got to come up with at least 4 points.
Yes. And you would prefer to win those games in regulation because, again, you don't want to give them points. Right now, LA is 1 point back, but again, they play tonight. So the Predators and Kings will have both played 74 games.
Who do the Kings have tonight?
The Blues.
Oh. Okay.
So in LA, Kings,
they should win.
They should win that game.
Yeah.
But you will have the same amount of games heading into tomorrow night's battle. And the Kings will they will be within 1 point one way or the other. Yes. They'll either have 78, 77, or 76
You can control
points.
Your spot in the standings with a victory over the Kings
Tomorrow
regardless
night.
of their outcome tonight.
For the Sharks, though, the Sharks scare me a little bit, even though the Predators have had their number.
They've kind of been in a free fall.
Yes, but they have 2 games in hand right now. So they have more opportunities to make up points. They're 2 points back right now, but they have 2 games in hand.
Oh, do they? Okay, so they must have won some down the stretch here.
They did just win on
because they really hit a skid.
They beat the Blues back on Monday.
Well, yeah, everybody beats
them. They've won back-to-back games. So they play the Ducks tonight at home.
Okay.
That's not a gimme whatsoever. Anaheim winning the Pacific, but it is in San Jose.
Well, that's a big game.
Then they have the Maple Leafs on Thursday. So they play a back-to-back the next 2 days and then play the Predators Saturday. So these next 6 days leading up to Monday when you play the Kings again in LA, we've said it so much this season, but I do think you're going to know one way or the other on Tuesday of like, all right, is this team a playoff team or is it not? They've had these 3 days to get ready for this road trip, and you've got the 3 most important games of your season coming up.
They're a low-end playoff team. All right. I mean, they can make the playoffs. They're no threat to play for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
All right. So, they're in that mix of teams. It's just however that thing funnels itself out. We saw them vault themselves to the 8th spot by beating up on bad teams.
Yep.
And then they played 3 good teams and lost.
Yep.
All of them. So we know where they're at. They can beat the bad teams. They can compete with some of the good teams. They can't beat the good teams, not on a regular basis. So, if they played the Pacific in the playoffs,
right?
Pacific's not very good. They might be able to do some things, but when it came down to
that, I mean, that's what we were disappointed in this weekend. Was last week we were talking about wild card 1 is in the cards.
They're not that good.
But
they're not that good.
They lost 3 in a row.
They're not that
it's
good.
now a pipe dream to get to wild card 1.
What do we say? You're not that guy?
Yeah, you're not that guy.
They're not that guy.
They're not that guy.
They're not.
And
if they were that guy, they would have come up with at least 2 points in those 3 games.
Yeah.
And not only did they not, they weren't close.
Right. They came up with 0. And, they battled against Tampa Bay on the road, which Tampa's the best team that they played in that
How many
stretch,
goals they get from Ryan O'Reilly and Steven Stamkos in those 3 games?
0?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And I'm not blaming those guys, but they rely on those guys.
Right.
And when they don't get, when you get your goals from Zachary Leroux and Joachim Kimmel, you're in trouble.
That's the conversation we had last week, is why we felt good about the Preds is their best players were playing their best hockey.
Yeah.
Phil was getting hot. Stamkos was getting hot. You saw Jonathan Marchessault starting to play better.
Yeah, he kind of disappeared.
And it was tough, but they've had some time off. Let's see if they can reset.
Yeah, if those guys can play well this week, look, if O'Reilly, Stamkos, Marchessault, Phil, those guys all play well this week.
Yep.
They can make a move. Without question, they can make a move. And we'll see if they can do it. Now, historically, 14 in a row against the Sharks, averaging I think 5 goals a game. So, I say I feel like I'm setting them up for a 9-2 loss. But
should have some confidence at least heading into that game.
It's a game you got to win.
Right.
It's a game you got to win.
These all feel like must wins.
Yes. And I guess, and I know we have to go to break, but the benefit of all this, whether you make the playoffs or not, is you have gotten a look at some of your younger players in games that matter.
Yeah.
These are a lot of games that matter. Who is up to the challenge? Who is not? Matthew Wood has looked good. Ryan Ufko has looked good. Luke Evangelista, I think the points have dropped off some. Joachim Kimmel, that was his first goal. It's the worst first goal in NHL history. but you're starting to get an idea of who's a part of the solution and who isn't.
Yeah. And the long-term prospects of this team are way more important than
Yes.
whether they sneak in as wild card 2 this year.
Exactly.
So I agree with you that seeing Matthew Wood and Ryan Ufko and these young guys step up, that's more important, but it is I hope that's an April Fool's joke.
What is it?
Texter.
Oh, okay.
Titans signed Hendon Hooker.
I don't know. I mean, they could.
I mean, he could be a practice squad body.
Yeah, I mean that could.
Oh
be,
no, it's real.
It's real. Yeah,
it's real. Jordan Schultz.
Well,
the Titans are signing Hendon Hooker.
The Vol fans should be happy.
No longer spitting in their faces.
Yeah, they're not spitting in their faces anymore.
Joe Rexroad rejoices. Hendon Hooker is a Tennessee Titan at last.
You know, I never thought he would have failed at the NFL like he did.
Oh, really? I thought he would.
Oh, really?
I watched him play 2 full years at Virginia Tech.
But what I saw at Tennessee was
no. I agree. He was way better at Tennessee. I always thought that was more Heupel than it was Hooker because I watched Hendon Hooker.
He had to make the decisions. He had to put the ball on people. I mean, his deep ball was tremendous.
Yeah, he had a great year. He did. I watched Hendon, and I know players can get better. I don't want to act like I'm saying, oh, he played bad at Virginia Tech, so he couldn't get better. But there was never a single moment at Virginia Tech that I said, that's an NFL quarterback. Yeah. And I always thought it was more the system. He's flamed out, but 1674 says Vols fans about to get crazy ideas about him replacing Cam Ward.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that they're already QB1.
He needs to not make the team because if he's dressed, if he's like the emergency third quarterback on Sundays, you're probably going to get in and Hooker in there.
They all wanted Hooker over Will Levis.
They did.
And so now they're going to get him.
They're going to get him. And that probably means Levis is going to be gone very soon.
So like you said, all the spitting in the face is over.
It's
the
over.
Titans have fully embraced the big orange.
Yep.
And they're building their team through Tennessee.
Need to add some orange to the new logo.
Yes.
615-737-1025. We'll get to some of your reaction on the Predators. We will react to Hendon Hooker being signed by the Tennessee Titans. Yes, that is real, not an April Fool's joke. Jordan
I swear
Schultz,
I thought you were kidding.
No, I thought it was an April Fool's joke too. But yes, Jordan Schultz, the Titans are signing quarterback Hendon Hooker as the former University of Tennessee standout returns to the state. So we will react to that and more Preds talk coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Today, the Nashville Sounds take on Charlotte at First Horizon Park. First pitch is at 6:35. You can catch all of the action on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Family Leisure and Social Cantina. And I apologize, Parker, I didn't warn you, but let's give away some tickets here. We've got a 4-pack of tickets to see the Sounds take on the Knights, the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox, at First Horizon Park tomorrow, Thursday, 6:35 first pitch. Be caller number 3 right now at 615-737-1025, and you can win a 4-pack of tickets to see Sounds and Knights tomorrow night at First Horizon Park. Cory, we got the news before the break. Hendon Hooker is signing with the Tennessee Titans, the former Tennessee Volunteer quarterback.
Yep.
And I want to get out in front of this because Matthew in Nashville texted this in. And Matthew in Nashville, typically good takes on the text line, says, y'all may not like him, but he's a better backup than Trubisky. Let's get out in front of this. Hendon Hooker is not signing here to be the backup quarterback. He is your third quarterback.
He's actually leading the Titans of the promised land.
Mitch Trubisky was the
Just like Geno.
Was the second pick of the draft.
Yeah.
Led the Bears to the playoffs twice.
He's also been a proven backup quarterback for the past 5 years.
And by the way, and we differ on Hendon Hooker. I thought Hooker was amazing at Tennessee, and I'm surprised at how far he's fallen in the NFL. But look, the Lions just let him go. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater from coaching high school football to play
over
instead
Hendon
of
Hooker.
him.
Yeah.
So this isn't like just a biased opinion by people. This is
the league has told you what these guys are.
Yes, the league has spoken. And by the way, nobody picked him up after that.
Right.
So 32 teams said no thanks.
Yeah. And we are now on April 1st. Free agency started 4 weeks ago.
If he's better than Mitch Trubisky, he's going to have a chance to prove it.
Sure.
But he has done nothing in his NFL career. Now, was he a better college player than Mitch Trubisky?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Without question. But he has done nothing in his NFL career for someone to make that statement.
Yeah. The Titans are paying Mitch Trubisky $5 million a year. I would guess.
No, it's not that much.
Yeah, it's 2 for 10, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was less than that.
I'm pretty sure.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He's
but
their backup.
They're paying him backup money. Hendon Hooker is probably getting close to the veteran minimum to join this team.
Minimum, yeah.
This move tells you way more about Will Levis than it does Mitch Trubisky. It shows you that if there was any doubt, which there shouldn't have been, that Will Levis is going to be gone sooner rather than later. I know that they talked about him, and Robert Saleh said, don't forget about Will Levis. Yeah. He's coming off the shoulder injury, and we have good competition in that room. Everything they've done shows you that Will Levis is about to get traded.
Yeah.
So this is more confirmation of that more than anything. Hendon Hooker is going to be battling to make the roster as an emergency third quarterback. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's it. I mean, they're just it's like KJ Osborne. It's a flyer.
Right.
It's a flyer.
I agree with you. I view KJ Osborne and Hendon Hooker, their roles on this team are going to be very similar. Of, hey, you're coming into camp, you're a veteran.
Compete.
You're going to compete, and you're probably going to be sweating on cut day to try and see if you make the 53.
Well, if you make it that far. They may not make it to cut day.
Exactly.
I mean, some of these guys get cut in a week or in 2 weeks or in a month.
Yeah, you never know. Like if another quarterback comes loose that the Titans like better as a third.
And I'm not advocating cutting anyone. I'm just saying that's the position they're in.
Right. Honestly, with Hooker, and Vols fans may not like this, Hooker's probably going to be competing with some sort of undrafted free agent for the third quarterback spot. Like that's going to be his role.
Or competing with someone who isn't on the team right now after cutdown day.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I mean, and, they'll get him in and see if he can do what they want him to do. But, I mean, his tenure with the Lions is pretty damning.
Yes. Yes.
And that, by the way, had a pretty good coach, Ben Johnson. He couldn't do it with Ben Johnson. You see what Ben Johnson did with Jared Goff. You see what Ben Johnson did in a year with Caleb Williams.
Yep.
And with Ben Johnson, Hendon Hooker got released.
No, and I think back to last spring before the draft where there were Vols fans saying, why draft Cam Ward when we can trade for Hendon Hooker? He's stuck there in Detroit. We should trade for Hendon Hooker. And I'm like, guys, Hendon Hooker is not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
No, it's been proven. Now, maybe one day he Geno Smiths it and figures it out,
Right. There's been crazier things have happened.
Yes, but to expect that to happen, to say that's going to, you can't say that.
No.
That's the difference between being a fan and being an analyst.
Right.
And I'm not sitting here saying, well, I'm an analyst. I'm just sitting here saying I'm not a fan in this situation. So I'm looking
at the
at
black and white.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the facts. And the facts say this guy not only is not a starting quarterback, he's not a backup quarterback in the NFL because there's not a team that picked him up last year after the Lions finally just gave up on him.
And I don't want to talk down on Vols fans here. I'm guilty of it too. All leading up to free agency, I wanted Tyrod Taylor to be the Titans' backup quarterback because of my maroon and orange tinted glasses.
Yeah, I told you, what are you talking about?
I think Trubisky is probably a better backup quarterback than Tyrod Taylor too.
And again, they're backup quarterbacks. That's what we're trying. And I said they should just have Will Levis be the backup quarterback. Why pay somebody? Because ideally that person never plays it down for you.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have been
for sure.
It really would have been ideal had Brandon Allen not played it down last year. Because you could argue he played a game and still didn't play it down.
Yeah, it was not fun. Robert on the text line. Now we've got people defending Will Levis for some reason.
Well, yeah, because he's better than Hendon Hooker was.
Robert says you guys should give advice on stocks since y'all are always so sure about your takes. You guys come off as you can't be wrong. I pray Will Levis is still on this team come this season. Robert, what would they keep Will Levis for?
Well, I advocated keeping Will Levis.
Yeah, you did actually.
And I continue to because he's on a rookie contract, and I think he's better than most of the backup quarterbacks that are out there. And I also look at him, as for our call earlier, if he comes in, he plays well, now he's got value.
And I understood your thinking on that, but once they signed Mitch Trubisky, which, by the way, was the first signing they announced, it was over.
Yes.
At that moment, it was over.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. They announced to the world, Mitch Trubisky, Will Levis is yours. Make us an offer.
So that's why I just don't understand, like Robert saying, I pray Will Levis is still on this team come the season. What could you possibly point to that says Will Levis will be on this team this season?
I know, like, we have short memories about guys, and we have like moments that stick out. Mitch Trubisky has played some good football in the NFL.
Yes,
he went 12-4, I think, his rookie year. And again, he's not a starter. All right, he is a capable backup.
Yes, he is better than Brandon Allen.
Yes, and I think probably better than Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you.
But it's been a while, but he's been immersed in it. He's a veteran. He knows. I am confident he will be better than Brandon Allen.
Yep. And,
I would make that stock investment.
Yes. I was going to say for Robert, like, you guys come off as you can't be wrong.
I know I can be wrong.
Well, I can be wrong about a lot of things. I have been wrong about a lot of things. I will not be wrong that Will Levis will not be a Titan by the time this season starts.
No, like you said, the moment they signed Mitch Trubisky, all right, Levis is gone.
Yep.
He's gone.
Yep. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We got a couple more segments on this Wednesday. We will talk some more Preds. We'll talk some college basketball. The Final Four is set. We'll get Cory's thoughts on that and much more to wrap up the show. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025, The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Been a fun, spirited show today. We got the breaking news earlier this hour that Hendon Hooker is going to sign with the Titans. Here's another one. Adam in Portland. VFL Hendon Hooker is about to beat out Mitch, and then Cam is going to have to hope he doesn't get hurt. This dude plays well in the state of Tennessee for some reason. Why couldn't this have been an April Fool's joke?
I don't have a problem with it.
No, but it's just if he makes the roster, one bad Cam Ward game, we're going to get calls and texts.
Well, they'll
put Hooker in.
They'll be stupid calls and texts.
Well, yeah, I guess we get plenty of those anyway. So
well, I mean, like,
not all. Our calls and texters are mostly good. I don't want to
talk on TV 5 days a week.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
People are entitled.
No, it's true. I don't want to say our callers and texters say stupid things. Only sometimes. Let's go to one of our callers.
We've actually never had a stupid caller.
Yeah.
Besides the Mendoza one. The Titans would take him first overall.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back to our phone lines and get to one of our best callers, Dustin in Hopkinsville, calling in. Dustin, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Heck yeah, I appreciate that, guys. To all the fans out there listening, y'all don't get the best stuff. There's a lot of rated R text that I put out that I get some laughs at and some that just get ignored.
Yeah, we have to screen some of those, Dustin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, hey, I don't know if people understand the concept of where Will Levis stands and our quarterback room. He's not going to be there. And for you to wish he's there, okay, is that you saying you hope he stays in Tennessee and gets buried and gets lost in the aftermath?
Or are you a fan? Oh, no.
No, the texter said Levis is going to stay on the roster.
Hendon Hooker is cheeks. Like, Will Levis is 10 times better than Hendon Hooker ever thought about that. He's still got a shot to be a starter. Hendon Hooker, man, he's getting Gatorade for the other quarterbacks.
He's lucky to have a job.
Yeah. I mean, Cory brought up the best point is that they pulled Teddy Bridgewater off of a high school football sideline to back up over Hendon Hooker. Like, if that doesn't tell you something.
Yeah.
Guys, Hendon Hooker's going to be cleaning Will Levis's jock strap till Will Levis gets traded. All right, that's just the sad reality of it. Now, I'm not down in the young man. Great person, great guy, and I don't care if he's a ball or not. But the bad case about this is Will Levis is still here. I'm so happy for him because I know he's on his way out. I hope it doesn't happen to him what happened to Willis. Somebody gets him. It looks great. He's going to be a starting quarterback, and then they trade off all these pieces. I need him. I wish it was the headline that they traded Will Levis for Hendon Hooker and maybe some deep pick or some garbage player, or another corner or something. I wish he was going to Ben Johnson, the Vikings, or McVay. Yeah. Y'all, Levis has got to get the hell out of Tennessee. It's cursed here. We may have fixed it with Borgonzi, but I promise you in 3 ways, Miss Amy, she's par for the course. She's going to find a way to just piss it away. That's what I say. All right, y'all have a good one.
Thanks for the call, Dustin. Man, I really did not think driving in today we were going to have Will Levis, Hendon Hooker debates in the big 2026.
And Ruben Bain.
Like,
it's been a loaded show today.
No, but like Ruben Bain makes sense to have a debate about that right now.
No, well, not for I didn't know we were going to do it for an hour.
This is not April of 2024 or 2024. Yes.
Yeah.
No, 2023 was Will Levis. Yeah. This is not April of 2023 when we are battling over whether Will Levis or Hendon Hooker should have been the pick. These guys, one of them, Hendon Hooker, is going to be the third quarterback on this team and may not even make the roster. Who cares?
Well, I mean, Vol fans care.
I know.
Because, I mean, he was a Heisman candidate until he got hurt.
I know.
And so, it's exciting to see him back. You get a chance to see what he can do. You just have to be realistic about where he is. And you're right, though. I mean, Will Levis can still be a starter in this league. He'll probably get another chance somewhere at some point. And I think where he goes next is hugely important. If he could go with McVay or he could go with Kevin O'Connell for a year.
Yeah.
I think that would be huge for Will. I think Will wants to be great. I think Will has a ton of talent. I just don't think he's played quarterback long enough.
Yeah.
And so I think that he just needs more time, and we'll see what he's got in a couple of years. Because I think in the next 2 or 3 years, you will see. I'm not saying a team go into the season with him as their starter.
Yeah,
but he's going to get a chance somewhere.
No,
get a chance.
I agree. And that's why Will Levis was the pick over Hendon Hooker back in 2023, was because the projectability. You looked at the frame, you looked at the arm talent, and you said that can be an NFL quarterback. And maybe it will be a starting NFL quarterback down the road again. But I just think it's hilarious seeing, Dustin from Hopkinsville, Kentucky fan, all the Vols fans just throwing barbs back and forth about Will Levis and Hendon Hooker in 2026.
Two guys who very well may not be on the team when the season gets
Yes, exactly. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. It's been an entertaining show at the very minimum today with the spirited debate back and forth on a couple of topics.
How long are Hendon Hooker's arms?
I'll find that coming back.
He has short arms. That's why he hasn't worked out in the
there
NFL
you go.
so far.
All of it. Have we tested the theory that all busts in the NFL just had short arms? Like that's
I'm not a good producer. I have short arms. So
615-737-1025.
Receivers are failures.
Yeah.
They have short arms too.
Yeah. Here's a good point from 3337. I'm glad we're not just giving the job to Brandon Allen. And I do want to point out it is good for the roster.
Is he still on the team?
No, not Brandon Allen. I'm thinking more in terms of adding competition to the roster instead of saying, Brandon Allen is here. That's fine.
There's no competition for Mitch Trubisky right now.
No, Mitch Trubisky's the backup. But at the very least, they're filling in the back end of the roster, which is something that hadn't been done in previous years where, some of the guys who've had to play, I couldn't tell you them from a car salesman at this point. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We will wrap up the show coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025 the game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. What a show it's been today. We have covered a lot of ground.
We have not. We've covered like 2 things.
We covered a lot of ground on, a very narrow range of topics, I guess.
The Titans' 3rd string quarterback
and Ruben Bain's T-Rex arms.
Yes. Godzilla. I prefer Godzilla.
Godzilla, yeah. Ruben Bain's Godzilla arms.
T-Rex arms are kind of like little chicken legs.
Ruben Bain is more
Godzilla's are a little beefier.
I'm exhausted after this. I mean, it's taken a lot out of us here. We got one more segment with you. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. Swing by John Daly's, located at 1907 Division Street in Nashville this Saturday for a basketball watch party you don't want to miss. Brought to you by Good Boy Vodka. Enjoy $25 Good Boy bucket specials, and 1025 The Game will be on site from 5 to 7 with prizes and more. Don't miss it, only at John Daly's.
Is that a bucket of vodka?
No, so it's his like seltzer. It's John Daly's seltzer.
Okay. I was a little alarmed.
I have never had one, but I do know what
You're talking about the golfer, right?
Yes, John Daly. His bar is in Midtown.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
I don't get downtown much. So.
You know where Dogwood used to be?
No clue.
Okay, it's on like Division Street in Midtown with like Losers and so it's on that street.
Okay, I just so everyone knows, I don't go out to the bars in Nashville. So I'm not picking on anyone. That is not something I do.
No, yeah, I've been to John Daly's once, I think, and it's fun. It is a good place. So go out there Saturday. Final four
of a bucket of vodka though.
No, not a bucket of vodka.
I was like, whoa!
It is like a vodka soda in a can.
I was like, you may want to call someone. You might have what we call a problem.
I mean, that is.
Oh my gosh,
that is true. I mean. That really is
Jake, do we need to have divine intervention?
That is really a Final Four party you can't miss with buckets of vodka, plus Illinois, UConn, and Michigan, Arizona.
I'm looking forward to the games.
It's going to be a fun night. I mean, I know early on in the tournament, there's all there's no upsets. Where's the Cinderella? Yeah. But it's led to really good matchups in the Final Four. We'll start with UConn, Illinois. Your home state, Illinois, making the Final Four.
ILL.
That's going to be a good game. And
it is.
I do think they are the 3rd and 4th best teams in the Final Four.
Yes.
But you get on the floor for the national championship game, you've got a chance, and both these teams are really talented.
Yes. I think ultimately in this game, experience wins out. This is UConn's 3rd trip to the Final Four in 4 years. Keaton Wagler is a huge part of that Illinois game.
Yep.
And we've talked about his lack of physicality at this point, that he's just not that strong. I mean, he's been great. I just think that in this game, the physicality might be too much for him. And that, I've always said with Illinois, they've been very good, but they haven't been able to win big games. Well, they've won some big games.
Yep.
And so, they've gotten over the top of that. But if I got to pick, I'm picking UConn. I picked Arizona to beat UConn in the championship when the thing started. I'm still there. Do I think it'll be a close game? Yes, I do. But I just think UConn with Danny Hurley, they're just so mentally tough.
Yeah, and like you got Caravan, who's the leader, who's been in the Final Four twice.
The guy in the post, though, his Perry, he's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. I really like all 4 of these teams. I'm going to lean UConn in that matchup. And then Michigan, Arizona, those have been 2 of, if not the 2 best teams all year long.
They're the 2 best teams in college basketball. Whoever wins the national championship, congratulations. Those are the 2 best teams.
Yes. And if you're able to beat one of them in the national championship, UConn or Illinois, you've earned it. I picked Arizona from the beginning. That was my national championship pick, but man, Michigan's really good.
Yeah, they are.
That game against Tennessee was just
that game against Tennessee was as good of a game as I've seen anyone play all year. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the season, Michigan, you remember Bill Goldberg in wrestling?
Yeah.
That was Michigan the first 13 games of the year. They were beating everybody by 30 and 40 points.
Yes, they were far and away the best team early on.
Just ask Auburn about playing Michigan. They're just getting destroyed.
Yep.
And so, they appear to be back in that mode. I mean, they are big and they are strong. Their ball movement against Tennessee was spectacular.
Yep.
Their open shooting was spectacular. But Arizona is a team with really out any flaws on it.
Right. This is This is going to be an epic game on
It
Saturday
is,
night.
and I just feel like whoever shoots the ball better is probably going to win the game.
Right. And that's it's basic, right? But
Yeah,
it is a make or miss game, right?
Yeah, it is, but the teams are so like level.
Yes.
And it's just whoever's up to the moment.
Right.
But I will be stunned if that game does not come down to the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, it would be disappointing if one of them has just an off night and it ends up not being close, because I do think that has classic written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they both, I said it they were the best two teams going into the tournament. There has been nothing that has happened in the tournament to dissuade me from that opinion.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have had some struggles. Like Arizona struggled early against Purdue, and then they figured it out and they rolled.
Purdue's another team that's a regular Final Four competitor.
Yes. Michigan,
they were the 2 seed.
Michigan struggled a little bit with Alabama's pace early on, and then they figured it out and they rolled in the second half.
Yeah.
So like they both, yes, they have looked dominant, but they've both also dealt with a little bit of adversity and overcome it in a big way.
Well, I say they also showed that they didn't get alarmed by it, and they just kept playing their game and figured it out and just went on and crushed people.
That is the late game, if I'm not mistaken, right? That is it's like 8 o'clock tip.
I don't know. The ratings for that better be good, because that is quite the matchup.
Yes. Let's see. It is, yes. So Illinois UConn is a 5:09 tip Central Time. Michigan Arizona 7:49. So it'll be the late one. I think that's the way it should be.
All these teams have some basketball history, which is cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Illinois. I mean, Illinois has been in the tournament, I think, 4 years in a row. There was a time back like 80s, 90s where Illinois had some really good runs with Lou Henson and Bruce Weber and Bill Self. And so it's taken a few years to get back, but they're back now. And UConn's UConn.
Yep.
So and Arizona had the Lute Olson years.
Right. And Hurley going for 3rd and 4 years, which would be crazy. But going to be tough with the teams he's going to.
Remember when Dan Hurley was Bobby Hurley's brother?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's kind of the other way around.
We were joking with Hurley being out at Arizona State. Does he join Danny on the bench and just have?
Is he like a rehab program like Saban?
Yeah, I mean Hurley, 2 Hurleys on the sideline.
Yeah,
and apparently the head bump with Roger Ayers was playful.
Okay,
that's what he came out and said. He's like,
did he fined like $100,000 for that?
Maybe he was, because you're not supposed to make contact with the officials. But he said that it was that him and Roger Ayers have a great relationship and that it was playful, and Roger Ayers knew it was playful.
Okay. So if they bring Bobby in, do they let Bill Murray's son go?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't do that.
Right. Tough decisions.
Maybe
to
Bill
be made.
Murray's son becomes a head coach here. I mean, he was on the Xavier bench for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a quality assistant.
Is Xavier? Is that what Bill Murray's a big fan of? I know he's a big Xavier fan.
He used to show up at Xavier games because his son was the assistant there. And now he goes to UConn games because his son is the assistant there.
Yeah.
I think it's great to see a star of Bill Murray's magnitude. I mean, his son is the assistant coach. He's not a player. He's not the head coach. He's the assistant, but still is at like every game.
No, that is awesome. That is awesome. And going to be a great Final Four this weekend, starting Saturday, National Championship Monday night, women's tournament, same Final Four as last year.
I've got Arizona, UConn. You've got.
I'll go Arizona, UConn too.
And you both like Arizona.
I like Arizona. Yeah, we're gonna stay chalk there. We agree on something today. There we go.
Yeah, and on the women's side,
all 1 seeds.
We got UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, Texas.
Yes,
right?
I'm going to go UConn, UCLA. They've been the best 2 teams all year. Texas, South Carolina, very good. I think it's UConn, UCLA. UConn wins it.
I want to go there with you. Texas is hot.
Texas is. They haven't lost since they lost to Vanderbilt. So
I'm just to be different.
I'm going to go
UConn, Texas, but UConn's going to win it all.
Going to be a fun weekend of basketball. That'll do it for us today. Cory, always fun having you in.
Enjoyed being here. Everybody have yourself a good Easter weekend.
Yes.
Do you color eggs, by the way?
I haven't this year. Maybe this weekend.
There are new exciting ways to color eggs beyond the old dunking ways.
The dunking, that's what I used to do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there are new ones where like you put them in a bag and you kind of like smear it on there.
Interesting.
And they have like planetary designs and everything. And they're so much cooler than the old eggs.
The evolution of technology.
And I eat a lot of eggs. So the two things kind of go hand in hand.
Right. Yeah.
So I can make the eggs and then I will actually eat the eggs.
That's what my parents do. They'll make deviled eggs at it. And
I do like deviled eggs.
Yeah.
But I just eat, like a lot of times I'll just take 2 hard-boiled eggs to work with me. And that's my snack.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So.
All right. Well, that will do it for us. TD, back tomorrow. We'll have a
All
TD
right.
Thursday on the show. But Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. You're on 102.5 The Game.